Hello and welcome, Draft League fans. Today we're back again with DPL Week 2. So let me just go ahead and link the stream to all the places and stuff, and we'll get started in a few seconds. We're joined today once again by doogal.
Hello. I'm
Yippee.
so happy to be back. Week 2 was very fun.
Yeah, Week 2 went a little bit better for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Alright. We have linked the stream in my server, which is linked below, and also in the DPL server, which is also linked below if interested in spectating through the Discord server. I mean, it's always a fun time.
I linked it in the diner chat too,
Cool,
gotta
epic.
get my guys in.
Yep. Alright, give it a few minutes for people to come in here, and then we'll get started. But yes, you do see a Mega Aggron on your screen, that is correct. This is a long time since we've seen a Mega Aggron in DPL, or any major tournament for that matter.
I like Lot's team. It's pretty cool. Like he had like Regenerator, then like like the Zapdos Gren, and then Big Aggron.
Yeah, he was describing his team as like a semi-stall kind of thing. I don't know if I quite agree with that. It's more so just
it's
like a
more
balance.
balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's something on the bench that we're missing. Benching an Aloe, but that's whatever, man.
I think he bench Zygarde.
Oh, is this a Zygarde team?
I think so.
I mean,
or
yeah,
I could be
into
wrong.
Lando T, Togekiss, I get it. Like, triple Intimidate, yeah. Yeah, he's benched for sure. Anyways, what's up, Cinerath? What's up, J Scurf? How we doing? Let's see. You like the thumbnail? The Zergatry demolishes a Trick Room build. Yeah, low-key trying to beef with Zazo a little bit for fun. It is a pretty consistent thing, though. He does run a lot of Trick Room builds. Glad to see we're back again once again. Yeah, of course we are. You gotta know. Anyways, Mienshao. This is a Pokemon that, like, was not really drafted a long time ago, then had a really big boom, and then it's now back to not being drafted as much, but Loki on the tail end of that, picking one up here on this team. And back again like Palafin. Palafin, we back again. We lead him with a flip turn.
Palafin's good, but like at the same time, like you have to like burn a turn to make it good. You know, it feels like it makes like turn one kind of hard. It's like, hey, do I want to like lead Palafin and they take advantage of it, or do I want to have like a useless mon in the back? Like it's on Lax's team, and like that's something like he struggled with this week.
Yeah, correct, Vergi. It did do that a little bit, but people were still drafting it at like 13 points, and then it like really was not performing at that price point, so it dropped back down, and now I think it's at like 12 or 11 points, so Loki picked it up. But yeah.
I think that's a fair price for it.
Yeah, it's probably reasonable. Like here, I mean, it's a Quillfish Lando T Togekiss still, like, it's a little bit rough.
Yeah.
But your bench is not exactly too much better into that. And you can, like, HP Ice the Lando at least, Stone Edge the Togekiss, all that stuff.
Like an AB set might be kind of decent, like to help a little with, like the Manectric if you need like the extra insurance, and Knock is always a good move against that loot team.
Yeah, like knocking off helmets is like really impactful, and you can regen that off, and that opens up your Aggron to not take all that unnecessary chip. So I like the like double knockoff with Mienshao Uxie here. Seems like it'll do a pretty good job getting rid of items from Zazo.
Yeah.
Mienshao best cure on blackjack. I don't know about that. I think we could find something better in the draft pool. But that's just me. Okay. I think we can go ahead and start now.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be Trick of Eye versus Skrelper, McSkrelp Face, Mock Kelp, whatever. The stupid name. Did I get it right? Skrelpy McSkrelper, Mock Kelp. Close enough.
Yeah.
McSkrelp Face is what I said. Whatever, dude.
It's a hard name to
It's
try
really
to
tough,
say.
yeah. Just say
You have to
something.
be reading it.
Just say something stupid and it'll probably be close enough. Anyways, yeah, matchup. I think Zazo does have the defensive tools to stop all of Loki's threats. The main thing is going to be, can this Greninja get through like a Spadef Scrafty or something like that? If it can get through that and maybe the Togekiss, then we can start picking up KOs and stuff like that. But it does look a little bit rough, not going to lie. Right.
Yeah. Like Manectric looks like really good for Zazo. Like there's no ground type.
Yeah. So here the Jirachi's actually like super Spadef. 45 from Dark Pulse is crazy. The trade a hazard.
Yeah.
And then Scarf Togekiss actually just kills the Gren, which is kind of crazy, right? You had a whole Zapdos to go to, but I guess it's Scarf Togekiss with Dazzling Gleam, which might go after Rocks. Maybe it's Modest Togekiss, which has no reason to be timid here. Aggron in on a Toxic, that's pretty nice. And this Jirachi, just going to U-turn out, but the double hazards are up. We're switching on double hazard. Could be an Earthquake here. So ground weak to ground weak, but a Curse comes out, okay. Do we see a Taunt? Do we see trading Spikes? We do. And Dragon Tail, interesting. So Dragon Tail plus Hazard stack. Gets the Manectric in. Manectric can't kill this Aggron from this range, but it's going to do a lot of damage with Overheat. Amoonguss comes in. So Fire Weak to Fire Weak. A Flamethrower is clicked, but Eject button comes out into Mienshao. Probably saying, I'm Scarf Mienshao, you need to switch. Quillfish is taking a lot of damage here. It's at 36 already. Takes that U-turn, wins the wagon game. It'll be in a bit. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Zapdos comes in to punish this Quillfish, and it's just going to go down. Would have come in at 3 after hazards anyways, so makes sense to just let it go. This Zapdos is kind of threatening here. Air Cutter's into the Scrafty, trades the item for it, but there's no Greninja left, so you're not really clearing this up for anything in particular. Scrafty's only really useful for like this Zapdos, and if the Zapdos beats it, then you don't really need it, do you? Looks to be Shed Skin Rest. A critical hit Air Cutter, but it's not going to proc immediately the Shed Skin, so the Scrafty is basically dead now. Yep, so Zapdos, it's an absolutely free KO and comes out at full HP. Now Jirachi has to come in. But we don't want to get Toxic on Zapdos. Yeah, you have to Toxic here.
That
100%.
makes sense.
Aggron comes in, threatening an Earthquake, potentially. Jirachi just stays in to take it as a Curse comes out. Curse, Dragon Tail, Heavy Slam, maybe Ice Punch, Avalanche, something for the Lando. It could be, but no, there is the Earthquake. So is the last move Ice, or is it no stab on this Aggron? No stab would be crazy.
I think you could just go Ice Punch because it hits Lando and Togekiss.
Togekiss decently, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We're never going to find out, though, because Manectric KOs it. Now, the Manectric stays in on the Mienshao, which is a really aggressive play, but Zazo's going to get rewarded for it by a KO here on this Amoonguss, just sacked off. Not really too important of a piece there, but you do lose a sack in potentially a sack war here. Mienshao goes for another U-turn, doesn't want to lock in versus either of these threats. Zapdos gets to come in for free. Zapdos kind of beats all of these Pokemon, potentially. Lando comes in, but it's faster than the Zapdos and KOs with Stone Edge. That's really, really big.
I think, like, Lop took your advice of, like, just run, like, or the Lando's not running speed on anything, so he's like, I don't need to run speed.
No, the advice is to just run max speed on everything, and you'll outspeed stuff you're not supposed to. But it was actually revealed after this game that the Lando was only faster by a few points, so he perfectly calls that speed creep, and is rewarded for it, because this Uxie last mon pretty much is just Shadow Ball to hit the Lando. Mienshao can't kill it from full, so doubles to Mienshao on the next potential knockoff, but Rock Polish is going to end the game here.
Polish.
The Lando is slower than Uxie, though, so I get to at least get a little bit of a dig in there against Zazo. It's just a fun thing. Anyways, Zazo comes up with a win. A really close game, given the matchup was really in Zazo's favor, but I guess the Rock Polish Lando always really had it, considering it kills Zapdos after rocks. That's kind of like the main thing that you need weakened for the Lando, but if it just dies, hey, maybe it's an Expert Belt or something. Regardless,
maybe.
Good win from Zazo.
Yeah.
Now, game 2 of this series, we have Base
Is this
Carnage
the
was
Devon
Trick of
games?
Eye. Yeah, Devon versus Trick of Eye. II here. Yeah. So Devon had a little bit of a rough week 1. Got kind of smoked by Hacker, which is a
Yeah.
little bit of a rough look in 2025, but that's okay.
We'll see if he can kill like one mod this week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Regardless, this team from I think is really cool. It's like really a lot of offensive guys, but then like the defensive like trio kind of Comfy, Bronzong, Blastoise, and then like all these Pokemon are like they can take a hit, but they all hit so hard. And there's the Comfy threatening a wind path, Superior, Leaf Storm, like one of the best Pokemon in SM, just in terms of like Scarfers, all that stuff. This seems cool. And then on the other side, this is like Zardex, Weavile, Pursuit Trapping stuff. I mean, what are you pursuing here? Not a whole lot. Maybe the Bronzong? What does that open up? Not a whole lot. Like,
yeah, nothing really. Zong's just there to get up like a hazard, you know?
Yeah,
like,
you just rocks up.
Maybe Toxic like the Rotom and the Oopsie.
Yeah, I would expect like an Earthquake, maybe Rock Tomb to slow down the Zard, not allow it to DD on you for free. Something like that. But yeah, let's get into the game. Tough luck pulling #1 draft player Hacker week 1. It does feel bad. And II's been on a little bit of a tear in Sun and Moon recently. Like, that guy is definitely back to his prime form. There's a Wisp miss on the Lando turn 1 is really impactful. Gets Blastoise in for free.
We're gonna see a lot of misses this game.
Spoiler alert. Man. Kyurem comes in on Rotom. Probably gonna be a special Kyurem if you're willing to switch in on Rotom. Potentially could have been a Wisp there. But now Lando comes in again on this Zard. We do know it has Will-O-Wisp though, so could just click it here. Doesn't want to stay in on the next Wisp, and then I gonna stay in on the Volt Switch, calls that out correctly. And now Serperior's gonna come in on a Defog and gets the evasion boost, so I really in his head about that. Volt Switch on Lando, Defog on Serp, and now, I mean, Uxie's gonna live the next one. But Ayapapa's gonna proc and misses U-turn. Next Leaf Storm's gonna kill. Sacks the Rotom. But we still have a few Pokemon faster. We have Zeraora, we have Weavile. This is just gonna die to Dragon Pulse, so thanks for the donation. Now Weavile's gonna come in. I guess he proved that it's not Scarf there, but misses Icicle Crash, dies to Leaf Storm. Zeraora's gonna come in, misses Fire Punch, dies to Leaf Storm. Yeah. Klefki comes
Not
in.
a good week.
Calm Mind, so it's Double Dance Klefki. Dies to crit Leaf Storm.
That's crazy.
Tough one.
I forgot that it crit. My god.
Yeah, tough one. I'm not gonna lie. Shouldn't have defogged, I suppose. I mean. The only one that really mattered is the Icicle Crash miss. The other ones, they could have hit and it would have made a difference. But, yeah.
The Whip miss turn 1 kind of sucked for Devon, too.
It did, but also, like, this Lando never put out any real damage. It's just that the Zard would have been able to stay in afterwards pretty safely.
It would have also meant that the Flare Blitz would have 2-hit it, because it's at, like, after the burn damage. Like with the Flame Blitz, so Rocks wouldn't have gone off and Defog wouldn't have needed to been clicked.
Wait, the Weavile had Z actually? Or just making that up, CB Marcus? Are we making things up in my chat, or does he actually know? Does he know something we don't?
No, Devon would run in Z on the Zera. I mocked him for this game.
Okay, yeah. Now it was Z? Alright, buddy.
I mean, maybe if he changed, but...
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, week 3 here, or not week 2, game 3. We have Highjumpsean versus Seathmon. So Highjumpsean gonna be on what, Trick of Eye, right?
Yeah.
And Seathmon is on the Skrelpers, right?
Good morning, Slick.
Yes. Oh, you mocked that day? Alright. I guess you could have Z Icicle Crashed or something? Or was it like Z Knock? I mean, if it's Z Knock, that doesn't kill. But surely it's Icium, right? Why wouldn't you click it there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Missed the Devon versus II commentary. I mean, you could just press J on your keyboard and go back a little bit. You could watch it. It's a pretty short one. You can catch up. But yeah. Yeah, Sean versus Seathmon. This one also going to be somewhat of a quick one. Let's just get it over with. Rip off the band-aid. We're going to see Fairy Zarude. This is going to be important. And then Fairy Annihilate as well. Paired with a Fire Moth, I'm pretty sure, is the other Terra type. So let's see, Zarude leads off into the Annihilate. We're just gonna Terra Fairy Swords Dance here.
Yep.
See a U-turn into what? Iron Moth. So this is gonna force it out with the threat of Sludge Wave. But Slowking is gonna come in here, takes the Overheat, which is a Terra Fire, maybe Specs? That did a lot of damage, right? But the eject button, Slowking gonna get out of there, get free rocks, and then taunts the Garchomp, is faster and, you know, stops the Stealth Rock. So this is a tank chomp. Makes sense, you know, into the Zarude, into the Roaring Moon even. But now Zarude's going to come in on the next Draco Meteor. Now Sword Stance up. And, bro, really wanted those hazards, I guess.
Yeah, and, like, spoiler alert, Zarude doesn't switch out again.
Yeah. Bro really wanted that spike as well. I get it, bro. I get it. But, I going for Flamethrower burns.
Like, the only thing that would have stopped this is, like, going hard Moth, like...
Yeah, you had to go hard Moth, but if it knocks that turn, you're so cooked, right?
Yeah.
Or even Trailblaze, right? But Trailblaze into a Helmet Chomp, probably not a likely play. But regardless, game ends.
Oh, Addy wants to join, by the way, Alpha.
Oh, Addy wants to join?
Yeah.
Sure, just join the VC in my server and I'll drag you into the streaming chat. But yeah, Zarude just looks a little bit broken in this game. I think we could have played around that a little bit better. Maybe a little bit. That's okay though. Alright, let's look at game 4 here. So Cyber gonna be on Trick of Eye, right? Pretty sure.
And it's against Mismatch Death, right?
Yeah, Mismatch Death.
Yeah.
Alright, and Addison is here. Welcome to the stream.
What's up, sluts?
Hello.
Whoa, a little bit aggressive of an introduction there. My chat are not sluts, thank you very much.
No, you are.
The two of us.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I play a lot of Pokemon. But, yeah.
That last game didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't speak for all of us? Okay, my bad, my bad.
The last 2 games didn't happen, let's just forget them.
Yeah, they cancel out low-key, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they cancel out apart from the... Both winners are on the same team, so they double up. They don't cancel out, but who's to say? Who's to say? Who's to say?
Well, it's a negative times a negative, so that's a positive. So like, let's just move on.
There you go.
So rally the troops. All right, this matchup. Do you have any insight on this one, Addison?
This one's an interesting matchup for sure. We were obviously incredibly mortified of Raging Bolt. Like, this is a team that we have that was very similar to our Draft League World Cup team that I think Batty Games was using. And there's just a lot of different... like, this team that we have is, like, crazy offensively, but really weak, like, defensively. It doesn't have a lot of great switch-ins to things, so
typical
we're really worried about, like... Yeah, we were really worried about, like, just Terra Dragon Raging Bolt, Terra Ghost Raging Bolt, all these different, like, crazy offensive types into us. And then Okie Dokie as well, just, like, with the freaking, what's it called? The Guard Dog ability. Like,
yeah, you can't bring in...
Fucks this team up.
Can't bring in Lando on it. Like, it's just
Lando
really
is straight up 2-hit KO'd.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
By close combat. So yeah, there was very few actual switch-ins to things, so we had to really build offensively here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Terra Dragon Raging Bolt does look really nice because they only Draco resist, really. You just, you know, T-Bolt next turn, that's the Enamorous. So, and Iron Crown doesn't really want to come in. Like, that's taking a lot of chip.
Yeah.
But maybe it can. Maybe it's Assault Vest here. We see a Lando versus Lando, so this is why I'll never have kids. Just a stupid matchup in SV. I hate it so much. That was really
stupid as well. Like we were, I won't say too much, but like we were playing around with like body slam Landers.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man. And you're gonna see Fagos's Lando is no better. It's actually just a horrible thing to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, what's the best move it even gets? Like Lando T.
Lando T? It's like Stone Edge.
It's like nothing.
Stone Edge, yeah.
Stone Edge.
But usually you're just going to see a rocks trade and some U-turns happen like Loki. There's nothing much else to do in that matchup. But, I mean, that's at least you have a switch in to the okie dokie answer. I mean, it's not really an okie dokie answer, but like it's faster, it can earthquake, that stuff. It can revenge okie dokie is the thing. So
was it Terra Oki? I don't remember.
It probably is, but you're probably carrying the Raging Bolt anyways here, because the default typing on Oki is still okay.
Unless
actually, it's not. It's not even Terra. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah, it was. I think Raging Bolt's the only Terra on this team.
The only Terra, or maybe something benched, right? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Then offensively on the other side, on Seth's side, I mean, the Sneasler's looking alright if you pack Zen Headbutt for the Okie Dokie. Potentially could be pretty nice here. I mean, Fizdef Lando I does actually seem pretty likely now that I look at it. The Sneasler and the Lando, you want to switch into both. Defensive helmet, I think it just makes sense. Cyclizar, I mean, maybe you can run Assault Vest and Endeavor the Terapagos. That's something you could do. But I don't know if that's exactly the most reliable thing that you have available to you. Probably Tinkaton or Okie Dokie are better responses to that. Ogerpon's looking really, really good, though. I mean, it's always inevitable, right? Ogerpon eventually will break through any team. And this one, like, the water resists are pretty frail, or they're slower, like Raging Bolts. So you could see a defensive even things, but still play rough, right?
Even things like Cyclizar have to be wary of play rough, and then Superpower too is just, it doesn't matter if his def you are, it's just a raw Oko if you predict it on the switch in.
Yeah.
So, like,
and Superpower's not even a bad click versus this team. Like, Lando's not coming in, so something has to take a Superpower. It's going to be Raging Bolt or Cyclizar most likely. So yeah, pretty scary, a volatile matchup, I might say. Let's get into it. What are the Terra types here? Terra Grass, Raging Bolts. Can't say I'm a fan of that. I would have preferred Dragon here, I think, by a margin.
We were very happy to see Grass.
Yeah.
I don't think we played Grass in a single mock, which was like
for a reason, right?
For a reason.
I don't know why we're Grass. And then Terra Water, Ogerpon, Terra Ground on the Enamorous as well. Yeah. Right, Greninja gonna lead off into the Lando.
I guess they just wanted a Terra that resists ground for Lando. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, but you have your own Lando, which, like, Lando I does beat Lando T in the mirror, most likely.
Yeah.
Oki gonna come in on this Terra Stars from 31, so it's probably AV, right? That makes sense. Drain Punch. A really big chip on the Ogerpon. Can't just synth this off, though. Doubles out into Iron Crown. I guess don't want the Raging Bolt in for free, but it's Scarf Raging Bolt. Why? Why are we Scarf Raging Bolts? I guess you want a revenge kill for the Ogerpon, so your Grass to switch in and then Scarf to outspeed. I mean, I get it for that use, but surely there was more threatening Raging Bolts you could bring here. The Ogerpon's parried anyways. Full parry here is pretty annoying, but I have to imagine a Draco's coming out. Yeah, Draco on the Lando switch. But that only does 53, so like super max Svidef Lando with Citrus Berry. Gonna avoid the 2-hit KO. And get those rocks up. We're going to see a rock straight as a U-turn into helmet, probably. Yeah.
If you were Scarf Terra Dragon, would that be a 2-hit KO? Probably.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, maybe through the Citrus it might live. It would do like 80-ish. Get the like, Citrus. It would live the next one barely.
It might. Like, I think it was a roll, but like I think the sequence was like, yeah, you switch into Crown or Enam.
Nasty crit there. I mean, you still had the Terra Shell, so Drain Punch wasn't recovering a lot. I don't think you avoid the 2 KO, but now you have to use Greninja to break the shell. And now Tinkaton's going to have to take a hit here, which is going to be a Rapid Spin into a Flamethrower or Earth Power. Probably Earth Power. if I had to guess. That's a flamethrower. I mean, same thing in this matchup, really. Raging Bolt comes in. This is also going to have to take a big hit, right? It's slower even with a Scarf because of +1 from spin. And it's just going to go down to 2 Terra Starstorms and kind of crazy. Scarf Cyclizar, though, right?
Charles.
Outspeeding the +1. Shout out to Charles, yeah. Lando comes in, but Lando on Lando. More helmet chip. Now Iron Crown comes in. Is this faster than the Lando? I mean, I guess you calc max defense and you know that you're faster. Looks to be Specs Crown.
Oh, were they?
That did.
Or back? Yeah, that did so much.
I did 57 to Gren.
We're a million% specs.
That's a lot of percent, I know, but
I think Psyshock was doing like 40 to tank a ton. So
that's crazy.
The strong Pokemon. Now Charles will pick up a KO here on the Lando here with a double edge. There's no normal resist at this point, really. I mean, with the crown so low, you can't really switch it in. But it can revenge kill, and Tachyon is going to be a KO here. And
the Lando had Citrus, so we needed to shout out J. Ricky.
We did, yeah. My bad. Shout out to J. Ricky. I said it in my head, but I think the other people were talking at the time, so I didn't say it. You know the vibes.
They're kind of like normal spam here. The retaliate Gren.
I mean, it's not normal spam, cool. If that's I guess yeah, Scarf, Cyclizar plus Banded Gren. Yeah, maybe a bit of normal spam. But yeah. I think it's just a good move to catch the Ogerpon, try to switch in.
Yeah.
Very aura pick, yeah, but Enamor's gonna clean up the game. And pretty close, I think if the Raging Bolt was a different set, maybe it would have been even closer, you know, or maybe even a win for Fagos, but
I was pretty impressed with Mismatch this game. Like
I think he played well, yeah.
I didn't see any mistakes here. Pretty well played game. Deserved to win.
It comes for like 71-9 too for Faye winning.
Oh yeah, Faye was like super favored in the pick'ems because he's like the next up guy, you know, to a lot of people. But this isn't game 8, so he doesn't have the aura unlocked. Unfortunately,
I think that might be Nala though on my team. Spoiler alert for
next up
series.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fagos, and he said he lost the game due to hacks. What's your opinion on this? Was there any win condition after the crit? The crit sucked, but also the shell was up, right? So Drain Punch isn't recovering that much. Maybe you can fish for like a Toxic Chain, but certainly you're running Guard Dog into the Lando matchup. It's like this crit here. We can go back a little bit. Right here. So the Okie Dokie comes in on Starstorm. Gets a high roll here. 37's like a max roll. And then a crit here. But the shell's up, man. You're not avoiding it.
Well, the question is also like, what's revenging the Terapagos even after Terapagos?
Even if it's like
80% or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe you could say you don't get the spin off, so Banded Gren can just retaliate it, maybe, or like low kick because it's banded. I mean, if the Terapagos stays in on a low kick, sure. That also means that the rocks wouldn't be off, so like it would be a different game, right? Low kick is only 40 base. It's like 60, right? Versus Terapagos.
The turtle's that light. It looks really heavy to me.
It looks heavy, but low kick is not that strong. But it is super effective with Protean, so basically the same power as Gunk Shot or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's 60. I could be a little bit wrong there. Rapid Spin might even kill after Starstorm, so Strange Punch wouldn't heal that much. No, you'd have to Starstorm again, I'm pretty sure. Because it would take like 30-ish, it would be at 10%. It would Drain Punch, probably do like 20% to this. Heal like 10, 11%. And you're at like 20-something. I don't think that's spin range. With the plan event to go Bolt and Volt Switch in tank? No, I don't think that works either. Like,
well, you get the spin off in that sequence, right?
Yeah, you spin versus Bolt. You spin versus everything, bro. You just spin.
Always get it off.
Yeah. Maybe you save HP on one guy, but I think he was still in a rough position.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it definitely sucked, but I feel like it was still like hard for Faye to win from that position.
Yeah, it would have been a different game at least. Like there was some outs. It would have been a better position, but I think still not exactly a winning position. Anyways, next game. Oh my god, it's Addison.
What?
Yo, that's crazy. I'm a big fan.
Huge fan, huge
Why?
fan.
Thanks, gang.
Wow. So, what are your thoughts on the matchup
this
here?
Against Brian,
oh,
right?
all right, yeah. This is against Brian, which I was really excited about because after my game against PZZ week 1, I was really terrified this would just be the Addy revenge tour DCL run back. But I was happy to play someone new. Like, pretty standard Switch team on Brian's side. Like, Melmetal Slowbro, very tried and true core, especially paired with Landorus. Crobat's, like, very common. There was a Zorark on his team that was, like, petrifying into me, I felt. Because, like, Sucker Punch into, like, Blacephalon and Shell Smash Blastoise is, like, very scary. And then also, something I learned during mocks was that, like, the user interface with the like the mons on the preview and stuff like constantly change when Zorark's switching in and out. So like you lose track. It's like Wi-Fi. You lose track of what's at what health and what has what status and everything like that. Which
that's annoying.
The most infuriating thing ever. So I was very relieved not to see Zorark. Like so relieved.
Nice.
But nonetheless, like Melmetal's scary, even though I have Celesteela and Blastoise, because like both of those don't really like being defensive in this matchup. And then the mon that's like really scary, even though it doesn't look like it on paper, is Thundy. Because Thundy like is checked by Garchomp, but once Garchomp goes down, or if I lose like health on Garchomp, it just like cleans the rest of my team.
And it's not like Garchomp is doing a lot while it's on the field. There's a Slowbro, there's a Lando T.
Exactly.
It's like really rough. So, potentially even a Balloon Diancie like could be a bring. I think it's unlikely considering you have other available checks, but yeah.
But between Lando and Slowbro, there's so much. Like there's 3 ground immunities. There's a Slowbro. I can never lock into like Outrage. Like it's just never. Yeah, it's not great here. So I pretty much have to like solely use it as a Thundy check. But on my side, I feel like I have a ton of threats. Like I think this is like one of the greatest Blastoise matchups of all time. Like Shell Smash Blastoise
of
like
all time is
tears.
Crazy. But
I think it is.
I see it.
Like not of all time, but like like it's as good as it can get these days. When people are hyper aware of Blastoise, like I mean, you need just a little bit of chip on Melmetal. You need to like burn some health on Spadef Slowbro or like burn the Colbert, and then it pretty much just wins. So like that is a big thing to go for, and then. Yeah,
you could consider maybe something like Scarf Crobat to cover Scarf Blasef, Smash Stoice, and Auto Steela. I mean, it's not going to do a huge amount of damage to any of them, but like Brave Bird, Heat Wave, it'll do reasonable chip. Like if they take a hit, they're going to get revenge, that type of thing.
It was something I definitely saw in mocks and was hyper aware of, especially because, but like at the end of the day, like, it can't 2 a KO Clefable, which is helpful.
Crobat is pretty weak.
Yeah. And then like obviously Blacephalon looks really strong because there's no Ghost Resist. So
yeah, that's pretty typical for a Swish in modern day. People don't really feel the need to draft Ghost Resist now that Spectre is banned, but Blacephalon is the next best one, so it will take advantage of that fact right here. Alright, let's get into the game. We have Lando T leading off into Celesteela, so good lead for Addison. You see a knockoff on a weakness policy, and you're not going to believe what's clicked here. Meteor Beam. I watched this, and I was like, oh, he knocked off the Power Herb, or whatever. And then I look closely, I'm like, weakness policy, Meteor Beam. Huh, that's not real, right?
It was very niche for Lando leads. It was just
some could say it was niche. Yes,
it was very niche.
Yeah, so you get the +1 guaranteed. Lando can't exactly 2-hit KO you with anything. Maybe like Smackdown Earthquake would be a concern, but is not that set. U-turns out into the Slowbro. So this is the chip you were talking about. A little bit of chip at least, but it's red card. Into Celebi, so all things considered, pretty solid. Now Lee Storm's into Crobat. Now Steel's going to switch in on this, but it's chipped, and it's a nasty bat, so Heat Wave going to be a big threat here. Pivots into the Blacephalon. Pretty scary play to make, but Heat Wave was coming out there, and you're able to outspeed, threaten this out with an Overheat. Diancie gets to come in on this, though, and potentially set rocks. I'm not sure if that's AV damage or just Spadef. No, just Spadef Trick Room. Okay, so no rocks go up, so probably rocks on Lando. Thunders comes in on this Leaf Storm. And then doubles to Melmetal on the Garchomp, threatening an Ice Punch, potentially. Goes for just a straight double Iron Bash, probably protective pads if you're willing to click that versus Garchomp. Is going to 2-hit KO the Steela, so free to click it again. Celebi comes in, takes a big hit. But now we switch out here on the recover, so Celebi able to recover that HP back. Crobat comes in, goes for Hurricane, but I mean, it's just going to be a Heat Wave follow-up, right? So smart pivots here, avoiding having to sack, and that's a AV Chomp, right? 10%? Oh no, it's leftover Spadef.
Max Spadef.
Yeah, makes sense. The burn does allow a nasty plot to come out here, not really fearing anything. Maybe you could fear like a Dragon Tail, but without rocks up at that point, it was rocks or Dragon Tail, so either or you're okay with the situation. Now Blisef comes into Revenge. DNC can come in one more time, I think. Thanks to Citrus Berry. Yeah, shout out J. Ricky. Trade rocks? No, just Trick Rooms again. And there's the rocks. Why didn't we rock the first time? I feel like we could have rocked immediately. But yeah, Misty Explosion on the recover.
I think rocks would have been scarier.
Now Lando comes in, but Celebi is like max defense helmet, so it just takes that you turn on the chin, recovers it off. Melmetal comes in though, and doubles to Thundy. Not really sure what the whole point of all that was, but I guess we get Thundy in versus Celebi, and Sludge Bomb's going to put it in Rocks range. That could be big. Now Crobat can come in, guarantee this dies to Hazards, because it's always going to be Smash Stoys, you're not going to spin. Blastoise comes in. It is Giga Drain Crobat, so guaranteed chip on this thing, but Shell Smash is going to happen. But now what? Crobat goes down. Can Slowbro take this hit? Can Melmetal take this hit? Slowbro looks like it can take the hit. 73 and gets up a Trick Room. So it's Trick Room Slowbro with Light Screen. Okay, so maybe Melmetal can do it, but I don't think you have enough turns. Only 3 Trick Room turns, and this Blacephalon is going to sweep the end game, I'm pretty sure. You just Flamethrower twice. Because it's not Light Clay. The Light Screen is going to run out eventually. Chomp lives the double Iron Bash, even with a flinch, right? It's really not that bad. You can sack Clef here. I guess just staying with Garchomp is fine as well. Now Clef comes in, wastes the last Light Screen turn. Just gonna Flamethrower here. Get your necessary chip, breaks or it puts the Melmetal in range if it wasn't already of the Blisef, and also if the Lando switches in, you're just gonna win anyways. So just a checkmated position. Just fast offense. Crit didn't matter. Blisef follow-up, of course.
Yeah.
There were a few scary turns that game, though.
There were, yeah.
I think if, I misplayed really badly by letting Celebi go. I feel, because I think Melmetal endgame could have become a bit scary.
Well, I think once the DNC went down, and the Slowbro had to take the Blastoise hit, like this was completely over. I guess that's after the Celebi went down. So you could have gone Garchomp here maybe, and just Dragon-tailed.
The fear with Garchomp was so I didn't have Dragon Tail, but the fear with Garchomp, I should have in hindsight. But the fear with Garchomp was if he doubles Slowbro here, on a predicted Garchomp, I think I just lost to Melmetal. Was my assumption there, because Garchomp would, with the burn and stuff, have been out of range of or would not have been able to live double Iron Bash, was the idea.
And I guess Celebi after Rocks will also die to double Iron Bash potentially.
Yeah, literally, despite being physically defensive, it dies to.
It's just a strong Pokemon, dude.
Double Iron Bash. It's
so
ironically fucking insane. So very close there. If I think if Garchomp died that turn and then he killed Clefable and then I had last mon Blacephalon, I would have still won. But there's niche situations where it could have been really the AV Lando. It wasn't, but it could have been, and that would have been really bad for Blacephalon endgame. Yeah, for
sure. All right, well that's gonna be the game, right? Came out with the win, W.
Worked out.
So now what? The series is 3-2 for Skrelp.
3-2.
Yep, and now we're facing a Mega Sableye Kyurem Staraptor team in
Staraptor.
Yeah, the rare Staraptor.
This is Cooper Kashiro old GBA days type team.
Yeah, back in my day type beat.
I know.
But yeah, it's just a weird looking team, right? This is the Trick of Ice special, right? Their ORAS teams are all a little bit experimental, some might say. I know Loki P really rates Kyurem in this gen. He thinks it's quite good if you can prevent hazards, so pairing with Mega Sableye. I mean, it makes sense, right? He was so excited when he drafted the Staraptor. It's so true.
I thought this team had Talonflame on it. Did they have Talon and Staraptor, or am I just
There was a different team that drafted Sableye Talon, I think.
Okay.
That wasn't Trick of Eye. Right? They don't have Staraptor plus Talonflame on the bench, right?
It might be PT.
I think that's right. Yeah, that sounds right.
They're both kind of like, you know, like older teams, you know, if you get what I'm saying.
You got some boomers on there.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to get them like mixed up, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, Rye with the same team he used last week to absolutely smoke Peyton. Very funny. But again, Thundurus looks quite good here. T-Bolt, HP Ice, Focus Blast for the Kyurem. I mean, it kills everything, right? When you have to worry about Scarfers and, like, I guess an offensive Whimsicott, which you have a Melmetal for. Not Melmetal, a Metagross, sorry. Last game's on my mind. But how are you getting rocks up, right? Mega Sableye just being Fizz-Def kind of blocks Metagross from rocking, and Mesprit could be Dazzling Gleam rocks, but that's a hard click, right? You don't want to Dazzling Gleam into, like, Jirachi, and then you turn into Sableye to get the rocks bounced back. That's like... There's outplay potential on both sides for that. But
I feel like the best we can do is like to just pressure the shit out of like Sableye early and then try and get up rocks like mid to late game for some kind of like...
Yeah, because early game when Sableye's at 100, he's never letting rocks up for free. But once it's chipped, you know, maybe a status, then it's a little bit harder to switch into, that sort of stuff. You can maybe make a play. But yeah, let's get into the game. Right, Sableye leads off into Charizard, just gonna Mega immediately, right? Stays regular Sableye to fake out, because he wants the turn to Prankster.
The Toxic, yeah.
Not that it really makes a difference, but... Okay, now, this is exactly what you wanted, right? The Sableye's chipped, so now potentially you could have some rock angles, but Rocky Helmet recoil, Flare Blitz recoil, this Zard is basically at 1 HP, and now... Sableye on the Will-O-Wisp, and this Zard has to make a decision. Either this Sableye is healing, actually you're threatening Fake Out here, so the Zard could stay on a Fake Out and just freaking die, or you can switch out and allow a recover potentially. And I think looking at it, you have the Healing Wish Mesprit, the Zard is always getting saved here. So Sablo makes that read, recovers his Sableye, and we're back in business. Yeah, Ren comes in, but... and just recover again. Yeah, and Sableye's back at full. They're really well played from Sablo. Gets out of that one alive. But now Thunderbolt full para. Or not full para, but paras the Sableye. A little bit unlucky, right? Ren comes in. Can't threaten like a Dark Pulse because para flinch. And the Sableye revealed all its 4 moves. It can't really touch the Gren outside of Toxic. So you have a lot of turns to fish for Dark Pulse flinches. Can't exactly stay in his Sableye there. But Kyurem takes a big hit. Drake goes into AV Stoice, and then Ren comes into Ice Beam. Sure. Now Fake Out Sableye into Mesprit. A little bit rough. Goes for Dazzling Gleam. This should be... Yeah, this is the turn, right? Where rocks go up. Yeah. I think Sablo could have played around that by U-turning into the Sableye, but it's a hard play to make, and of course hindsight makes it easier to say that. But yeah. You guys want to commentate this? I'll get some water real quick. My throat's a little dry.
Yeah, do it.
Here.
Yeah, go for it. We get the rocks up, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Kyurem. And I think Kyurem might have been Scarf, maybe, potentially. I'm not sure. But
I'm actually not sure either.
So we see the
Whimsicott Lucid is really, like, fine for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Oris too well. But at the end of the day, like, I think we're just sacking the Thundurus so we can get Metagross in. Because Metagross, like, you can switch in Jirachi, but, like,
If you click like Earthquake, it does like so much, and Lando's like hard to switch in because it could click Ice Punch, you know, predicting that too, especially against Whimsicott.
Yeah, but like Whimsicott going down makes it really nice for us to start clicking Dark Pulse and just kind of clean up the game.
I think it would Scarf Kyurem just by the way Sablo played it.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
But like Metagross is just gonna win this game, like eventually.
Yeah. And like with the para on Sableye, it's like kind of impossible for it to break through this Greninja now too.
Ooh. The flinch. I don't think the flinch really mattered. Like there was Bullet Punch there.
Yeah. I mean, does Rasha get Drain Punch? Maybe it got Drain Punched or something.
Oh, yeah, it does get Drain Punch. Maybe that could have made a difference.
Yeah.
But
we take those.
And we're back.
But and Greninja just cleaned up. Okay.
Alright, did I miss anything?
Other than Serene Grace Greninja, no.
Yeah. With the Jirachi Drain Punch, do we know? Because like I think that's the only way it potentially could have mattered.
I don't even know if it did though. I forget how much health Mesprit is at. Like,
well, Drain Punch feels a little unlikely on account from you need something to hit Metagross, Thundy, Zard even.
It's more likely to be like T-Bolt, right?
Yeah.
Think? Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
T-Bolt for the double water. You could even have like Draco Meteor on this Jirachi, right? Does it get it in Gen 6?
I was thinking that. It does, yeah. It would be like a Shadow Ball T-Bolt Draco. That's kind of cool.
That could be cool, yeah.
Not cool enough.
Yeah. Shout out to Greninja. I think when I was watching this, the flinches obviously sucked, but Ryze is in a good position no matter what, right? So
yeah, I
hard to
think
say that Sablo got hacked.
Yeah, Bullet Punch just would have won the game there unless Jirachi had Drain Punch, and like we weren't sure if it did or not.
Even
if
it
Kyurem would confirm Scarfed. It outsped Gren with the Earth Power.
Oh yeah, we knew that though. All right. Next game. This is gonna be a fun one, right?
Stop! I already know what you're thinking.
It's gonna be a fun one.
This is my favorite game of the series.
Yeah, same dude. Yeah, we recorded the podcast, and this was game of the week. I'll have it be known.
No.
Yo.
Was it the best game? Maybe not, but was it the funniest? Yes,
it is
absolutely
funny.
So
I'll
funny.
give you that.
As a spectator as well.
Yeah.
I mean, chef's kiss.
I think I was asleep for this game though, so I missed it live or something like that.
Tough luck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is this game so funny?
I will give caveats to this game though, because I do think there's a better way to look at this than the funny way, but the funny way is obviously the funny way to look at it. So
well, we'll watch it the funny way, and then you can tell us the serious way after.
Yes, that's fine.
Just who built Bobbert's team? I'm so sure that it was Zazo. I'm so sure. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like, 88% sure, which is 100 after Stealth Rocks. All right.
Yes.
Beedrill leads off into Thundy, and now we just knock off here. This is 93% because it knocks off the Iapapa Berry, and Nidoqueen is coming in on the Volt Switch. Volt did nothing, so this looks to be like a bulky B, which means it can just stay in on this Nidoqueen and do another 75 with knockoff, because 2 Super Berries down, that's already like over 100% worth of damage, and can just knock off again because this B actually just walls Nidoqueen. Shout out. And can just roost. Yeah, so Skarm has to come in. So basically, I think this team is built around forcing the Skarm to come in, and then Xurkitree can punish it with the substitute as well. And now we outspeed the Thundurus. Okay, sure, it's bulky Thundurus, right? Iapapa, I get it. But Zerk being faster is a little bit annoying. Not going to be a big difference because Thundy doesn't really hit it back, right?
I mean, yeah, and also if Thundy wasn't that much bulk, it wouldn't have lived that HPA anyway.
Exactly.
It doesn't really make that much of a
thing. Now, Gallade actually forces it out with a threat of close combat or Earthquake. I thought the Torn was coming in on this turn, but instead Donphan comes in on a bulk up, so now Ice Punch is going to do a lot of damage to the Donphan, but Rocky Helmet and those rocks are going up. Now, were those rocks worth it? Who's to say? Because you kind of wanted that spin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to have to deal with these hazards unless it's Defog Torn or Defog Hydreigon, which it could be, but then you just sacked your rocker to then defog like 2 turns later, which doesn't feel great. Yeah. Pokefan, why were we Super Berry Nidoqueen if our plan was to switch into B to get rocks early, meaning it would likely get knocked anyways? Wouldn't Helmet be better? I think in theory, Skarm is the B switch in with Helmet. And Iapapa Nidoqueen is just a good set. I mean, Rocky Helmet would have made a difference here. Like, it just roosts it off anyways, so Iapapa's fair. Right, you also can take HP Isis from Zerk, get the Super Berry, live the next one, that stuff. But yeah, Z into the Spiritomb, reveals AV, so 49%, not a whole lot, and Pursuit traps the Torn. So after rocks, this Torn is going to be very low. Now Hydreigon comes in, and we have Coughing Baby versus Coughing Baby. 19 versus 21. But Hydreigon is going to come out on top, gets another Dark Pulse off, does 30 to the Gallade, but wait a minute, the Gallade is slower than Hydreigon? Curious.
I'm not commenting yet.
Yeah, Beedrill comes in to sack. I mean, Drain Punch is 4 times resisted, does 25, so Sneak, of course, going to get 27. And Torn comes into Revenge. Spiritomb sack is pretty reasonable. But now what? Feeny comes in, which is likely Choice Scarf in this matchup. We're going to see a Moonblast here. Surely there's no resist. Bulu comes in, and Moonblast is 57. And you can see Feeny heals the terrain first, so we know it's faster. Can't just go for another Moonblast. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so Skarm comes in on Bulu, which, of course, Skarm beats Bulu. But now Zerk gets a free switch in, which is what the whole team's designed around. Force the Skarm in, and then get Zerk in for another hit. And I think we're just calling no Whirlwind on Skarm. Just goes for a sub. And Nidoqueen comes in, but a sub protect with terrain recovery. So this Zerkatry is going to get very healthy here. And can't just HP Ice 2 it KO this Nidoqueen. There's no bulk in the world that's going to save you from this. Zerkatry is very strong. But yeah, another HP Ice. A cute little Sucker Punch. Does a little bit of chip. But Zerk does get that Beast Boost. +1 special attack. And now what? Gallade comes in. And Moment of Truth. It's slower. Of course it is. Shout out to Zazo. That's my goat. And Feeny can't really KO Zerkatry from 76. Could even go for a Protect here, just to guarantee it.
It's just the Death Drop that totally helped.
Yeah, that was a little bit of hacks going Bobbert's way, but unfortunately not quite enough in this endgame. And, okay, that was funny to watch. Now, what's the serious explanation, please?
The serious explanation is, like, at the end of the day, Bobbert grossly misplayed, right? So at the end of the day, you have Finny KOing the fucking Bulu and probably outright winning the game. Obviously, it may not KO Zerkatry.
Yeah. How are you stopping Zerkatry when it came in?
Whatever it would have been.
That's the question.
Yeah, but Zerkatry can't sub on that turn versus Finny unless, you know, Skyhorse is being incredibly bulky or ballsy. But then the other side of things too is the other misplay that like is pretty easy to miss. So like the Finny misplay is like, okay, Bobbert was on time. He was afraid of like, you know, Jolly Scarf, Bulu or Custap Berry or whatever. But the other side of things is that turn where Gallade came in on Hydreigon, cost Gallade the HP that it would have needed to live the Zerkatry hit. Obviously, it would have been great if it had just outsped the Zerkatry in the first place, but the spit up was like really crucial because we were living like Hurricane from what's it called?
The Bulu was at 25 exactly, but Showdown tends to round down, so it's probably 25 point something. So even if it was custom,
that's true actually. Yeah, so I don't know. Like it was clearly panic switching out the Bulu and then switching out the Finny and then but I like losing the health line Gallade was the biggest thing. Is like that was really brutal because we would have lived a Zerkatry hit very easily, even a +1 Zerkatry hit, and Drain Punched back.
Yeah, I think at that point you just go Feeny on Hydreigon every time. Get your Moonblast KO. But hey, I mean, it's funny.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's fucking, yeah. It's, I mean, Xerxes.
I think I prefer the funny option over the serious one.
Wow.
Personally.
I agree.
But even if Zerg subs, you can still go Nidoqueen and Earth Power. Like you're still keeping it out of a sub when you're doing that.
Did you miss any shoutouts to J Ricky? I think we've had 2 or 3 so far.
Yeah, there wasn't one this game.
Get 2 KOs and wins. It would 2 KO the Nidoqueen, get it +1, and then Gallade would come in. Potentially live a +1 T-Bolt, maybe, because it's so bulky. And it didn't take that chip earlier, but I think maybe not. Maybe not, though. Like, we don't know that role. Right. And now we have the series decider, right? So JCMShadow for the Skrelpers and Jascha for Trick of Eye. Skrelper's up 4-3 at the moment, so Jascha needs to win to tie up the series, and if JCM wins, they just win the week outright. Alright, so these teams, we have a kind of standard-looking Zarude Deoxys speed with Psychic Terrain. That's always a fun one. There's also the Psychic Terrain plus potential Smash Cloyster, which makes it even scarier into stuff like, you know, Vacuum Wave Keldeo. You don't really have that as an option, so maybe a Mirror Herb is in order in this game. Because this team does kind of rely on priority to check a lot of threats, right? E-Speed, Vacuum Wave, Shadow Sneak, all that stuff. So without that, I mean, Indeedee just a good Pokemon to have here. Even though there is the Overqwil to like kind of stop it, the terrain is really nice. This Overqwil is also really pressured by this Deoxys, this Goldango. It's going to be a tough one, I think, for JCM. Or for Jascha, I mean, to deal with these Psychics and the Cloyster, potentially the Zarude.
There's a Hydrapple right there. Like, that one's broken. Like,
there is a Hydrapple right there, yep.
Yeah.
Now, let it be known in the voting tiering council, whatever, for Smogon. Basically, I was like, you know, Hydrapple is worth 16 points as a Terra Pokemon, but you're not ready for that conversation yet. So I'll vote 13.
Are you kidding me?
I'll vote 13, but I think it's 16, and I was still the highest vote on that. So just say, it's tough being right all the time. It really is.
Hold the fuck up, though, because when we were tiering for this, when we were tiering for this season, you happily made it 12.
It's not 12.
What is it?
It's 13 or it's 13, right?
Is it 13?
It is 13.
It's still too little.
Should have been 16. Should have been 16.
Yeah, it should have.
No,
but
where's the?
All right, I'm just saying, if we make Hydrapple 18 points and ban Masquerada, we have a perfect tier. I'm just saying.
True.
It's crazy.
Oh, Hayes said he can hop in. I just saw the DM. And we'll see if he wants to join still. But anyways. So yeah, matchup is looking pretty interesting here. I mean, I guess the Overqwil is just kind of god here. It checks a lot of these Pokemon, but it can't do it all by itself. So maybe Hydrapple could do it, but again, like Deoxys Speed is low-key one of the best Hydrapple answers. Because you can pressure stall Fickle Beam, you can Light Screen recover. Like you just kind of hard wall it, like low-key. It has to be like plot to break through, and that requires so many turns. You match it with the Light Screen, and it still can't break you. You could potentially Future Sight into something here, maybe the Goldango. Yeah, because Make It Rain plus Future Sight is always going to do massive damage to everything, right? Could be a cool combo, like Light Screen, Future Sight, Goldango, Make It Rain. We'll see, though.
The Big Apple.
The Big Apple, yeah. So this is Terra Fire.
Huge Apple.
Terra Fire Hydrapple. Terra Water Overqwil. And then on the other side is Terra Fairy Zarude. And Terra Ghost Cloyster. So Ghost also immune to all these priority options as well, if the Psychic Terrain does not go up. But exactly, Light Screen, Deoxys. But it looks like no Future Sight. Instead, just going to go Indeedee, which doesn't cover the Overquill coming in, unfortunately. But it does cover it because we trick the Scarf onto it, really weakening Overquill's ability to check all these threats. But the T-Spike does go up for it, but it's boots Cyclozar, so going to be able to just spin that away. Yeah.
We have Charles.
Yeah, shout out to Charles.
Yeah.
Deoxys, again, going to come in on this Hydropple. It is Nasty Plot, but Psycho Boost is going to do at least a little bit of damage, right? 39. Another Nasty Plot. So one more turn of Light Screen. We're going to go Indeedee on this. Pickle Beam does 51, but procs the Citrus Berry. Shout out to J. Ricky. By the way, the Overquill is the original Citrus Berry holder. So got that tricked. Cloyster comes in on a Gunk Shot. Kind of crazy. Really expected the T-Spike to go up, I guess, if you're JCM. I wanted to trade hazards, I guess. But now a flip turn on the Deoxys coming in. It's probably just SpDef Deoxys to handle Keldeo plus Hydrapple. Makes sense here. And then Reflect. So dual screens with a Light Clay allows the spin to go up. But you get rewarded by having both hazards up. And now Pain Split is a crazy tech here. Weakens the treads while healing up the Deoxys. Pretty cool. Now Cloyster gets to come in on here. And dual screens, Cloyster. Do we have a Mirror Herb here? Just gonna Icicle Spear, doesn't want to smash into a Mirror Herb. I get it. That would be pretty scary.
Yeah, Mirror Herb Keldeo makes a ton of sense here.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not worried about it. I don't know.
Yeah, guy like me, I'm a little bit worried about it, but that's okay.
A guy like me would have clicked Shell Smash and lost to the Keldeo there.
So here's the
here's
the smash. I guess once you see the Surf come out, Surf is kind of a try-hard play that you only really have to make if you're like choiced, right? Maybe Scarf or something.
Yeah.
So
well, and also like
Mirror, you would get the Shard in range.
Yeah, you get Shard. Yeah.
So it makes sense. But now you do have the Terra available for a Vacuum Wave, but it is Shadow Sneak instead. So good thing you didn't Terra. But Valiant does check it at least. Now, Cyclozar is to come in, goes for a Hyper Voice, but this is a very SpDef Hydrapple. Takes basically nothing from that Cyclozar. And Fickle Beam comes out, does 34 to this Indeedee. Gets forced out into Overquill, though, and makes the double to Goldango. Could be big. Make it rain here. And Treads takes 46, so potentially a Specs Gold?
No,
I don't know about potentially.
Oh, never mind. I thought it eject butted out just like watching the replay, but like the damage was too much. Yeah.
And Hydrapple once again free switching on Cyclozar, just regens that off every time. Deoxys is PP stalling these Fickle Beams though. There's only one left into pressure, but doesn't go for the Pain Split. Instead, just gets up the screen, and now Deoxys is very low. Zarude gets to
this
come
was
in.
A great play by Jascha, by the way, because Shadow went into Cyclozar thinking sneak.
Yeah, but now Zarude does get the SD off, plays around the Destiny Bond correctly, and now it's still Zarude with the Light Screen, but the Scarf Overquill is going to force it out. Shout out to Trick Scarf. Does get to go Goldango and just fire off a Specs Shadow Ball, and now Dragonite gets to come in. That's 38, so it's 2-hit KOing through the scale, but +1 Dragonite Earthquake is going to be enough to knock it out, so sacks the Deoxys, and now what? Zarude has to come in to take the hit and Terra Blast back, which it will do, of course, it's a Zarude. And now it's looking like a crazy endgame, right? Specs Gold looks really strong, but you have to click the right button. Healing Wish. Oh, but the Nasty Plot on the Healing Wish is crazy.
Yeah.
So Zarude is back, right? Yeah, Zarude is back. You could have gone to Goldango first, and the Healing Wish always goes into Zarude, but just wants the Zarude in right now, and Terra Blast is going to do way too much damage. And Drain Punch only does 34. I think we know who's the better Terra Captain here.
It's a big apple.
And
that's crazy.
Even takes the Spec Shadow Ball. Kind of crazy.
He's too good, dude.
Yeah.
That's Mon's fucking stupid.
It looks like we have Hayes joining us. Alright, what's up, Hayes? We got an actual watch party now. 4 people. It's a crowd.
Love to see it.
Alright. So Hydrapple, he might be the GOAT. And that's going to tie up the series. So Skrelvers once again tying with teams that they honestly probably should be beating on paper.
Shut the fuck
up. Hey. It must be said.
Yeah, let's keep it cordial.
Yeah. Alright, so that's the
Wait
series.
until you two play each other, then you can like get at each other's throats, you know.
Trying to rig Sword and Shield.
I'm here for it. Do it.
Yeah, that would be kind of raw. I like how this is like alternating on the dock. Blue. What even color is this? Like magenta-ish? Whatever. Next series, we're actually going to skip down to Doogal's series because he's going to have to go eventually. I'm going to make sure he's here for his own games, but yeah.
We can skip 2 of them, though.
This was a cool series. I enjoyed this series.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Game 2 is J-Scurf. 3... 4...
Can we only watch the games that my team won and like ignore the other ones?
We could do that, surely. And game 8. Alright. Got it all set up. On my mom. Not a cool series, says iPro. No.
Oh, shit.
Aww.
Yeah,
I think the series was pretty cool.
I think it was neat.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, I hate this game.
This game is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give you my expert swish. There's
Okay.
multiple mons on my screen right now that should not ever exist in a swish.
Which ones?
Palisand is one of them.
I don't know, Palisand about to put in some crazy work, I think.
Palisand kind of puts in some crazy work, but it shouldn't. Like it shouldn't be putting in that.
Yeah.
It gets like what 0 kills but it avoids the crunch drop for like 8 turns in a row, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice, we just hate on the best mon in the matchup.
No, this is like fine, but you got a lot of like down type of interactions.
Yeah.
Like you got the Garchomp into the fucking
What's up, Metronome?
Corviknight. You have the freaking Neolego and like Nido Queen, which is never fun.
Yeah, check out the new song that just dropped like yesterday, Blaze. It's a Blaziken rap. We dropped it on the new channel for all the music stuff, PokePal Productions. It's linked in my server pretty closely in the uploads channel and all that if you're interested. But yeah. Oh, iPro wants to join too. Yeah, we could have a whole crowd here.
Way.
Pop in. Pop in, General, I'll drag you in. But yeah, so I'm of the opinion that Lycanroc Dusk is bad. So when I see a Lycanroc Midday, I think that's pretty irredeemable, right?
Pretty diabolical.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's just like a mon that's already bad in my head just got like half as strong. Like it's literally half as powerful. Like, bro, it's not a real Pokemon.
One mon in Swish that I feel like people aren't conversing.
Oh, you cut out.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. What's a mon you were not respecting?
It put it in work this game though. Like, give it credit.
It put in work, but it never should. I feel like it's too slow. It's not bulky enough. Like it never does anything. I feel.
It was kind of nice here because like the likely mods that boost speed in like Chomp and Nihilego, like we outspeed.
You guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, let me pull up this.
Is that iPro?
It is iPro. In the flesh.
I'm a huge fan.
Starstruck right now. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's the Draft League World Cup GOAT.
I think the Draft League World Cup GOAT is actually Hydrapple, piloted by Yurdunk. But that's okay though. Anyways, Jimmy G versus Hail Draws. This is Hydra from Dinos, right? And Jimmy G is on DUI. Let's just watch the game at this point.
We felt really good about like this matchup going in, by the way. Like,
I thought this match was incredible for us. I didn't have any hand in like prepping or anything, but when I saw it posted originally, I was like, "Oh my god, this is great."
Yeah. Okay, so taunts the stealth rocks, and then Zapdos comes in. or Grimstar comes in on Glaciate. Hold up, I was looking at something. So Grimstar comes in on Glaciate, predicting the Chomp. Does very little damage. So it could be AV, or just Spadef, I guess. Taunt again on the switch to Zapdos and a Volt switch. So Victini here is Taunt, but also Assault Vest. Because how did that do 24? Like, explain to me.
We were a very bulky Victini. We had like no speed. Like...
Yeah. But then also tell me how it's also choice banded, doing 68 to
Yeah,
Starmie.
no,
I was thinking when I saw the replay.
How many
It's
item
fucking
slots does
insane.
this guy have?
Yeah.
You know, we had like 12 moves. We had 2 items and like 1,000
Yeah.
EVs. You know,
Yeah, the
like,
GSC
we cheated
spread.
a little bit.
Then Primarina is Assault Vest to come in on Starmie. Flip turns out onto the Zapdos, but he just fucking dies. Oh my god, dude. How are you gonna die?
Yeah, I feel like right here might have been like a little misplay. Like I think Hydra even regrets like sacking Victini after this. Like I feel like it would have been nice to keep.
Yeah, it's at 70%.
Yeah.
We already saw we're kind of scared to switch in on this thing, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't know
I
why.
think you
it's
had a
not-
Corviknight though, like just go Corv,
Yeah, but
right?
whole core.
U-turns on the Palisand into Primarina to keep up the pressure. Can just go for
Yeah.
another flip turn, or even just, you know, just click the water move, right? There's no resist. Starmie's at 22. Gets the burn on Grimmsnarl, but it's Rocky Helmet AV. A wonderful set here. Does everything have 2 items, bro? Shout out
we
to
have to check if
Swish.
this game was bugged or
Is
not.
this a custom game? Like,
Everything is 252.
yeah. So it gets the U-turn into Primarina. Now, probably still dead to EQ, so Corviknight is going to pivot again in.
Yeah.
But Swords Dance calls that out, and do we see a Fire Fang? We do see a Fire Fang. Only 60% though. But an Iron
We have the
Defense
tech,
with
though.
lefties, you're going to be out of range of the next one. I think maybe
Yep.
you just go for the flinch or crit that turn.
Yeah.
But regardless, Palisand comes in, going to completely stonewall this Corviknight. Last is clearly Body Press. So rocks are going up here. Grim comes in. Takes the Scald.
That you really can't guard against.
Gravity.
You really,
Gravity out.
you really can't
I
guard
get
against
it, bro.
gravity
I
with
get
this
it.
team.
Get the Garchomp in. Pick something up with Earthquake. But now Zera gets to come in. Doesn't kill Chomp from full, but... Okay, subs? Why are we subbing here?
You can stall gravity turns, like.
Yeah. It was just
You did
solid
that
gravity
anyways,
turn.
though.
Well, we would have lost Lara like that turn. Like
I mean, you're going to
And
lose
then
there
there'd be another
anyways.
turn of gravity left.
but like
Yeah.
it wasted like a turn of gravity though.
I guess, yeah, you sub once and then play rough.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are kind of risking skill shot, but it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Def, but
I think you have to click like
I mean, the
Earthquake
sub the
right
first time
now.
is fine because he's not gonna assume it's Subzero, you know? It just came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anything, you might assume, like, Shuka Berry. I thought it was Shuka when it
Yeah.
came in.
Yeah.
Anyways, Crunch, as
Yeah.
you can see, does absolutely nothing to Palisand because Lycanroc is terrible. Even a
Yeah,
super
perfect.
I'm of the opinion.
This
But, like, this is
Spadef, by the way.
interaction-
Same as
this
you,
isn't-
Alpha.
this
is
isn't
I think
an
Lycanroc
interaction
Alpha's
terrible
bad
or
as
is
well.
Palisand the goat?
This
Which
is-
one is
I
it?
don't know.
Zero defense
this-
Palisand, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. Zero defense.
This
Just
is an
snapping it back.
interaction that I feel like should never happen in Switch.
Oh, I
These two
fully
lanes
agree.
never see the light of day.
Yeah.
It should not.
This is like bringing me back to like Clash of Kings low tier when you're watching just
This is
two
bringing-
absolutely
this is bring-
terrible mons.
This is bringing me back to Wi-Fi. This is bringing
Yeah,
me back to
that,
Switch
I was thinking the
Wi-Fi.
same thing, for real.
Mm-hmm. Nidoqueen comes
Like-
in and Ice Beam wouldn't have killed. It wouldn't have even done half.
Okay,
but
like
Oh god.
we hit the pallet stand with the Scald, then get the burn. We hit it with like 7 crunches. We didn't get a drop. Like I feel like, you know, like it would bound to run into like a bit of like RNG like unluck at some point.
yeah, probably
So
a defense drop would have been likely, but
Yeah.
Well, even if the
crit
ice
on
beam
that
didn't
turn is
kill, I don't
rough.
understand how we would win from there anyways. Like,
Yeah, we
Uh,
were Death Pyapa on the Nido. So
Spadef Pyapa,
I think we
I
still
mean,
would
yeah,
win.
that would probably
Yeah.
do it. But also Spadef Ice Beam, if you just shore up on that, like it doesn't do any damage, you know. But either way, Hydra's gonna come out with the win here because of that Bianca Berry, and then Earth Power just gonna KO this Nihilego. But yeah,
it was a big win.
Hayapa Nidoqueen is crazy.
Nidoqueen at Psychic Berry. That's a pretty deep reference.
This is the thing, not to spoil the rest of the series, but this is the thing I really like about your lineup, like Dino Crisis's lineup, is that you obviously have like probably the strongest Scarlet and Violet lineup like anyone could possibly have. And then if like someone if you just get like 1 to 2 people to like win in older gens, you're like set for like awesome.
Spoiler alert, our Sword Shield is 3-1, by the way. I won't point out who that one boss is, by the way.
But that's the thing.
I like our Sword Shield a lot.
Yeah, it can happen to anyone, really.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This game, I'm not gonna
powerful matchup.
talk a ton.
This game was crazy when I saw the chat. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. J-Script DM'd me on Friday saying that he hasn't won a single mock all week and was like, I'm desperate.
So, Rage had like close to 30 mocks for this, I swear to God. Like he felt like really good about it, and then like he didn't like follow the game plan like at all.
Story of every
I think he might have like
life.
Pretty much,
like
yeah.
I think he like, you know, like hyper focused like on everything and like put in best effort, and like I don't know, maybe the nerves got to him. It was his first ever DPL game, so
yeah, it happens for sure.
Yeah, but anyways, this matchup kind of crazy, right? A lot of threats, but Hippowdon low-key walls the whole squad. Like Obama's like on God. So probably Toxic Scarm, right, is the only way you're really breaking the Hippowdon. Maybe like taunt something. I don't know. It's really rough to break this Hippowdon, I think.
No, wait, I thought that was my end as well.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh, is my internet?
Like the screen is frozen. Yeah.
I think it's good now.
Is it good? Are we back? All right, we're back.
I think we're good.
You stream good? Hopefully the stream's all right. But anyways.
Yeah. Wait, I gotta respond to Hydra. So like, we are not changing this team at all. It's a staple of our Dino Crisis. We'll change the other 2 Orats teams, and we're not dropping Boas. Like, those are the 2 guarantees.
Boas is the team mascot. You can't trade him.
Yeah. We're also not trading Nala because he's the GOAT.
Actually, Nala, I love Nala so much. Nala's my favorite human being in Draft League.
He's such a GOAT. I can't wait till we get to his name.
I love
to his
him
game.
So
it was
much.
so good.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the game though.
Mm-hmm.
So Raikou leads off into the Abomasnow. Gets up the snow, or the hail, I guess, this gen. No HP fire or anything, just goes hard drill. On the Earthquake, kind of raw.
We were shook on the Raikou, like in the mocks, like we always toxic like turn 1, because you know, like that way we don't rip the drill. But
toxic would have worked out pretty nice here, no lie.
Yeah. Wait, also like from that bolt damage, like
I know
from the bolt damage, I knew that our guard couldn't kill with hidden power fire, so like we needed to go Talon there. I don't know if Rage just didn't calc or
he didn't calc. He definitely didn't calc. There's no way. You should probably assume. I don't know why he assumed it killed.
Yeah, because like
crazy
in
2-for-1.
In most mocks, like we were doing like 18 to 20 to like Obama, so like I knew this would like really split F.
Eject button?
We lose our guard.
Yo, the self-boom of eject button is like monumental. Because now your Hippowdon's forced to stay at 61, and it doesn't switch it on anything anymore.
I swear people use the worst mons for eject button.
I know. Like
it would
all
kind
the
of
time.
nice at some points with like Sand Drill. Like we take like a hit from like Ape, and then we get like Sand Drill, and we can like threaten with an HD or like maybe get a spin off if we need it. So like I don't think like it was the worst thing, but there is definitely times where it puts us in a bad spot.
I don't know, you're like sacking Hippowdon HP to get in Drill versus Zapdos Scarm. Like, it's
Hippo's so good versus the whole team that you wanted to come in and probably just recover, because it just sits on the team, kind of.
Yeah, it should have been a rock turn there. And then you just... I guess it would have been a slack off, because it's Life Orbing for an Ape.
We actually didn't have rocks on Hippo. We had him on Drill, because, like, Button made it hard to get rocks on.
Yeah, that makes enough sense.
That's a self-report.
No, that's too funny actually. But anyways, guard gets sacked here to the floor, and we're just cooked at this point. Hippo has to come in to heal.
No,
we're toxic.
Like, great match.
We have rocks on Hippo.
Wait, bro just lied.
Who lied? Did I lie?
I get it.
Okay. Like,
never let him know.
To be fair, like he played like 30 mocks, you know, and there were games we didn't have rocks on Hippo.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't lie. I just misremembered.
This game is a wrap, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to say for this game.
There was a chance like Hydra could have got a toxic off on Zapdos, which would have put it in range of XG Talonflame, like charcoal after rocks, but like we don't take that opportunity. We should have toxic here, but we roosted. We needed the toxic that turn. Like missing toxic here doesn't matter like at all.
Yeah.
It's just kind of forgone.
Can Raikou do it?
No.
No, no, it cannot.
Oh.
He just full switched out the game.
And then, yeah.
Probably
activity loss is crazy too.
He told me that he didn't realize that the timer was so low. He didn't do it.
That's valid. I mean, I think it just didn't matter.
He had 2 options to click as well.
Yeah.
Dude, when I saw this, I thought he just volt switched and forgot he had to click a button, and he was just waiting for J-Scarf switch in. I for sure thought that's what it was, but
I think like what happened was like he knew he lost and he was like really stressed and like he just kind of forgot.
Yeah, that early game was crazy bad. Like can't really recover from that. All right, so the series is 1-1 now, tied up. Pyro versus Castelia.
Ooh, this is a fun game.
Yeah, Roaring Moon bench, by the way.
Should we talk about how there was like a sub and then a double sub back to Cat?
I mean, if you want to talk about it, it doesn't really matter for the game.
Oh, I would just more mention it because it's kind of funny because we had like the event in Discord like Caps versus Pyro. Sub for Boas, sub for Cass.
Yeah, so Cass was like might not be able to make it, so Boas was like getting ready to sub in, but then Castelia was like, oh, I actually can make it. So Pyro was a nice guy and just allowed the original matchup to occur, which is of course the optimal solution. As like the guy who runs the tournament, I want the best players playing the best players. But anyways, looking at this matchup, I mean, Araquanid is kind of god here. Like the waters just rode him. But you have a whole Hydrapple. Oh wait, I remember this Hydrapple. Oh god.
Yeah,
this is the game that makes Hydrapple look balanced. I swear to God.
I was expecting like a mixed defensive Nazi plot apple. Like I brought that in mocks and I kind of like did pretty well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe what would be the defensive Terra here? Dragon maybe? Dragon looks pretty reasonable into anything besides the Roaring Moon.
I brought like Ghost and we saw water.
Yeah, Ghost works.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, water makes sense. But anyways, I think we just get into the game at this point.
Yeah.
Low key. Yeah. Alright, so Terra, Fairy, Mew, Steel, Heatran. So Steel Heatran makes me think it's probably choiced in some way, because you want the stab boost on that kind of set. And on the other side we have Fairy, Hydrapple, and Water Gliscor. Alright, Mew's going to lead off into Hydrapple, immediate Terra Fairy, and Nasty Plot. Leaf Storm, when I see this, always going to be an eject pack on lead. Alright, Glimmora gets to come in here and threaten out this Fairy-type Mew with Sludge Wave. Makes sense. Now Tusk comes in, takes quite a bit from that, so
we get the rocks up and we drop the spider.
Hey, remember when the Araquanid looked so good on matchup?
Yeah.
Well, it's dead now.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
We were prepared for it. Like, we kind of expected Banded, honestly, from the spider, because, like, it's so good into us.
Yeah. Oh my god. We're just taking 50% recall on everything.
Everything just died, man.
Yeah.
He just killed everything and still had his Mons alive.
So Heatran down to 50. Gliscor comes in. But Rotom can come in on this. It's a Rock's turn. And now there's no... I guess you could Terra Water your Gliscor. He actually predicts the Water Gliscor if the stay-in is happening. And if you switch, you're going to Hydropple, so Volt Switch makes sense either way. So Mew gets to come in here, threatens a Draining Kiss. There's no real like switch into Mew at this point, because Gliscor can get Ice Beamed potentially next turn. We see a Leaf Storm here. Does 50, but now it's -2, so gonna have to switch out here. Doesn't switch out.
But it doesn't.
Just Leaf Storms again. And
I don't understand. This sequence made no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like trying to call out a nasty plot that never happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of tough, because if you go Gliscor, you're probably still in a losing position. But at least you have the Hydrapple alive. I don't know, this Heatran is going to win, like, so soon. Switches to the Bravier on the Vacuum Wave, so scouts that out. But a critical hit here does 46, which means the next one on the same roll does 31.
Yeah, so I think put it in range of Vacuum Wave, but Pyro didn't click it.
Yeah, I assume it's just like a massive roll that he's not willing to risk. But at this point, you have to. Like, you're down 3 to 5. You have to just take KOs when you're given them.
I just think he didn't calc, to be honest.
Maybe
well,
not.
if you didn't calc, you just say it kills. Like, just basic 1.5 times math. Instead, we sack our Gliscor, which was the only steel resist.
Yeah, this game was pretty sad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Rotom comes in.
I like the outcome.
Yeah, just Volt Switch here is going to KO the Valiant. Destiny Bond KOs it, but Heatran's going to come in. Yeah.
Win, yeah.
Even at 11, it's out of Shard range. Even Choice Band can't kill it from this range. So, boom.
I think we lived a crit too if that were to happen, but...
I think crit was a roll.
I don't know for sure.
But if you crit, then you also had to get through the Gengar, which I think was revealed in chat was like Colberberry T-Wave.
Yeah, that's correct. So, like, Mew would have, like, or Gengar would have parried it, and then, like, Mew would have won.
Yeah, with Draining Kiss, yeah. There was no out. You say this crit was really rough, but it didn't matter because he sacked Gliscor anyways.
Yeah.
Like, the crit only matters if you Vacuum Wave again for the 2-hit KO. Anyways, now we move on. I think Dino's up 2-1 at this point. And now we have Zooch versus Jesse 504. Isn't this a rematch from playoffs of last season? Or am I thinking of that wrong?
I don't think Jesse played for DPL last season.
Who am I thinking of?
Did he not go 3-0 in DPL last season or something? Or
I think that was
DCL?
It was DCL. He went 5-0, but like most of those games were BGC.
It was 3 VGC games, Sun and Moon game, and Swish game, if I remember correctly.
I thought he got picked up after mids or something last DPL. Maybe I'm wrong.
Who am I thinking of that Zooch played in playoffs last season of DPL with the Zarude versus the Backs?
I have no idea. It wasn't my team. That's all I know.
It wasn't Jesse, it was... Jascha. It was Jascha. The 2 J's, right?
Okay, yeah, that's why you got confused.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Berna's got it too, Jascha. But anyways, this matchup here, there's a Noivern on my screen.
This matchup, by the way, it felt really rough because like Ogre felt like our best mon, but then there's Shaman.
Yeah, Shaman kind of just walls it. You can take advantage of Shaman though. Like you have Noivern, you have Overquill to set spikes on it, even Scizor, right? But Corviknight can come in on Scizor and Overquill, defog away those spikes. So Shaman, Corviknight, low-key hard to break here. Kind of walls everything,
had, like,
low-key.
Petulant. Like, Petulant's pretty hard to break, too.
So, like, defensively, Jesse has a great matchup. Offensively, Darkrai does look also pretty solid. Like, every time it comes in, you're getting chip that's not really getting recovered.
Right.
So, I think Jesse definitely has the matchup here.
Yeah, that's how we felt about it, but we can start the game, but yeah.
So Terra type's going to be Water Ogerpon, of course, and then on the other side it's going to be Grass on Mew. So basically have 2 Shamans here. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, Grass was a great type, especially for the the Mew set, like its weakness policy we see from Fritz, so we can't click U-turn, and like we also don't want to stay in because like obviously it lights beam.
Yeah. So we taunt immediately on the Ice Beam, Yachi Berry, and now Ogerpon gets to come in here on the next Ice Beam, and then we double to Overquill on the Terra Force. So now it's a grass type, so Overquill can kind of beat it now. So really smart. But
we can't click Barb. We can't click Barb.
Yeah, because weakness policy will just sweep you low key.
Yeah. So like this crit was really big, by the way, because like Hooch was gonna click Barb that turn because like it's gonna get the boot, and then we have Bow.
Yeah.
So because like because it got crit, we don't get the damage off. So now it's not in range of Bow. So Bow has to take a hit to be able to revenge it.
Yeah, that does suck. You're also risking like Draining Kiss right here, because that would be like game ending low key. Yeah. But a Moringa Berry Corviknight gonna switch in on the second Moonblast.
Oh, just burning this Corv so early.
Yeah, so bulk up Moringa Berry. Do we see Taunt Lando? We do see Taunt Lando.
I think it was a mistake to click bulk up first. I think you should have clicked agility first if you're Gypsy.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was also too early to do this Corviknight.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. I just sacked the Mew. Just sacked the Mew. There's no point. It did.
It's like there's a it's like the Mew. I mean, there's a point of like, I guess you don't know, when you're gonna proc it, but yeah, kind of just wanna.
Oh my god, this Garchomp is Trick Room. It's slower than the Lando. Gets taunted on the Stealth Rock turn.
We weren't even a very fast Lando either.
Yeah, this is defensive Lando.
I love these Trick Room EVs.
I think Zazo built this team. That's why.
Yeah.
Wait, Zazo built that team? That's crazy.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyways,
yeah, I'm really gullible. I'm sorry.
It can happen to anyone. Wait, no recovery on Shaman?
Oh.
Wait.
Oh.
Why is this Shaman not alive? What?
I don't know, but we'll take it.
Hey.
I think Jessie should have put the healing witch on you, by the way, but like spoiler, he put it on Corb, and I think that helped us a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't healing wish the Mew, because it could just trail base, and because the booster is gone on Val as well.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And now it's just a sack.
Not yeah.
Mm.
I feel like it should have been one of the better things.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think he probably thought the Corv could still agility and bulk up and win because Lando was low, but there's just too many clicks.
Too many turns, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have double taunt, right? Taunt is never like setting up again. Now Petrant can actually beat the Ogerpon, which is nice. And foul play is actually huge here. Oh, Scizor lives the next one. Shout out to Rolls. So it gets rid of the boots on Petch. Not sure how impactful that's going to be though. We'll see, I guess.
If like the Mew didn't crit the Overquill, like, and we killed it, like we would have been in range to not die to that, like that chain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, it could have still poisoned us because it's like what, a 50% chance.
Yeah. But now taunt Ogerpon just gonna put this Corviknight in jail.
It just wins the game from here.
Yeah.
They're just
synth up here. Yeah. So Ivy, take the foul play. Even a crit wouldn't have killed. And that's gonna be the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think this Ogerpon was always winning.
I mean, once the Shaman healing wished, it's like, what are we doing here?
Even with the Shaman, because the Shaman literally just came in, tailwinded, healing wished. Like, it was never, like, it was gone in the mid game. So, like, there was no way to break this.
Like, consider if it was like Rest or like Synthesis Shaman, just keeping it around to switch in on Ogerpon, I think would have been really impactful.
Mox, I brought Leech Seed with Rocky Helmet and Protect because it wore down the Scissor, which would like the bet switch in, or the Noivers. Yeah.
I mean, Scissor just U-turns on your sub, so like it's not the end of the world. But yeah. Alright, well, Zooch comes out with that one, so they're up 3-1 now.
3-1, man. 3-1 is crazy.
Yeah.
This game was something, too.
Oh, Lax versus 3D? These guys are friends, so always gonna be a fun one.
Something like we noticed, like when building is like Bicka Bolt, it's kind of crazy with an agility up. So we won like a lot of games like that, unless like H would scarfed or Enam would like scarfed like Stellar.
Vikavolt always looks good with agility. Like on all these matchups, it just always looks good for some reason.
Yeah.
And it is Terra here, right? So.
Yeah, it's Terra Electric in the matchup.
That's like a strong move, bro. That's pretty strong. But yeah, Urshifu, the other Terra type. So, interesting team here. You don't see a whole lot of Superior in SV, but the other mons are pretty standard. Mandibuzz has been picking up in usage a lot recently. And then on the other side, I mean, it's just an offense build with a Pecharunt, like Loki.
Yeah, pretty
Webs
much.
plus spin block, pretty typical stuff. But there's a defog Mandibuzz, so maybe Webs less than stellar here, especially like double contrary. You don't want to Webs up against contrary specs Enam, like with Terra Fairy.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we didn't bring Webs.
Yeah, you can't here. It's just impossible.
Bringing Webs into double contrary would be
double
crazy.
Contrary, defog, court change, like spin and a muck. Like, it's always going to be agility here. But anyways, yeah. Looking at the Terra types, we have fighting, electric. The Enam is going to be water. Alright, and the muck is also water. What is water even for? The Palafin, I guess?
And Moltres on the bench.
Moltres on the bench, okay.
Yeah. I don't think it was like a bad bring. I thought Stellar was better into us, but I can understand water.
So immediately gets the Palafin transformed, I think is correct. Goes Petch, kind of just walls everything. Foul plays on the muck, doesn't do very much, but you have a Treads to come in on this, potentially set rocks on it. We see a Fling Light Ball parrying the Treads, okay. But it's a Spadef Booster Treads to come in on, I guess it's prep for the Enamorous.
Yeah.
But, sure, I guess. It's just Hazard Stack Spin Block with a Balloon Petch to Spin Block the Tusk, but I don't know, this game plan feels like it could definitely go wrong with like Court Change or Defog, right?
Right.
I don't know why you clicked spin here. That was just like, I don't know.
You wanted the rocks gone. I get it. It's the spin block with Petch, Toxic's the Tusk. Now what, Muck gets to come in? But this could be a 2-hit KO. Oh, it doesn't foul play, so gonna live the next attack here.
Let's go with his balloon here, which was kind of... No, wait.
Pain Split doesn't break balloon, but the next turn is gonna break.
But he did let it go against Muck, that's what I meant. I remember that. Which is kind of surprising.
I mean, you want the Muck low so that your Urshifu is unlocked, right? Because until it goes down, your Urshifu is not really doing too much, but now it's weakened, you don't really need to stay in at this point. But also, what are you switching to on a Pain Split?
When it was weakened, and it's also like double hazards are up, you know? Keeping that balloon was nice.
Well, here you foul play. Oh, actually, KOs from there. High roll. They're really nice there. Enam comes, it takes rock, so it could be Assault Vest, could be choiced in some way. Gets the Earth Power on the Tread switch.
Scarfed, like when we saw it take rocks.
Probably, yeah. So Deoxys comes in, forces it out. The threat of Psycho Boost is here. Goes for an Ice Beam predicting Mandibuzz, but 3D one step ahead. Goes Cinder. A knockoff? Where's the Psycho Boost? Oh, we just don't have it. It's Taunt Spikes, Knock Ice. So world's worst Weavile impression. Goes down to the Cinderace. Palafin comes in. But Serp is just going to surely be max defense helmet here. 16 and the helmet, yeah.
There it is.
But we're
Rindoberry Acrobatics. Wow.
That was pretty fire. That was pretty good.
That was a great set.
I feel like this is like a misplay here, though. Like, we should have just spin blocked. Because, like, there's, like, no boots on Enam or Cinderace. But we, like, allowed them to get the spin. I feel like that
was definitely a misplay. There's no reason to let the hazards go up.
And your Petch loses to everything else, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm surprised we got hazard stacked with having a court change.
Yeah, that's a crazy team choice. Yeah. Hazard stack into all this. I mean, sure. I guess it's working, kind of. Yeah. Jet Punch gets an Amorous low. And Petra gets to heal here, because it's locked into Moonblast. Nasty
the
plot
mana
mana
buzz was
buzz.
kind of scary. Yeah,
Yeah, it
like
gets toxic.
I honestly thought we lost at this point.
Oh, the lum.
Because
Lum actually cures both the poison and the confusion.
It cleared everything.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is you needed to flinch there, because...
Yeah, now it's poisoned again. And Vikavolt gets to come in. Should take any hit here. As it does, because it's a mana buzz. And Thunderbolt gonna knock it out. Anam gets to revenge. But now, Urshifu comes in. Sucker punches the Anam. We know it's Scarf. And then Cinderace doesn't have any non-attacking moves. And it doesn't...
I guess not. We were Scarf Sucker Punch with the...
yeah, it was 4 attacks, unfortunately.
Yeah. I definitely think, like, the mistake would, like, let in the spin got off, because, like, if that doesn't happen, I feel like the game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he made it stressful for me.
This got so brutal. We're down 4-1 right now. And, like, it's just... Like, how did this even come to happen? You know?
You need
no
someone...
disrespect. We're just like, what?
Yeah,
like, why?
I get it.
Why are we down 4-1?
Yeah,
you know?
Me and my teammates lose.
And we had me, Panda, and Craig left, so I was like, alright, okay.
Drawable.
There was always a
actually
chance with that
drawable.
lineup.
Yeah. So we need someone to put a win back in the column, and of course we have iPro next up versus Sammy C 1-2-3.
That's been like a big test for Sammy, you know, like against like the best Usum player in the tour probably. Like either Sadell or like I would say is the best. Yeah.
No, I think iPro is definitely a bit above I at the moment.
I think I'm like 5-0 versus IO.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so definitely the best. But and like, you know, Sammy beat Greg, but like iPro's obviously above Greg.
Yeah, I think it's like iPro, a bit of a gap, a bit of a gap, and then everyone else right now in the Usum pool.
So, I mean, I think Undead's up there. Like, I think
Undead is up there.
No. Undead's not terrible,
compared
but
to the rest.
The pool is
it's like best of the rest, right?
If Zing didn't play me this week, and Aster says he's going to play me one of the weeks he plays, if he didn't play me, it's like there's no competition in Usum.
Oh, Aster versus you? That's going to be super fire, actually.
Yeah, he said he will, so that's fun.
Looking forward to that one.
My season doesn't feel like invalid. I'm just farming, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, this is a cool team from you. The like Zygarde, the Zera, and then Feeny, which is like when I saw the Zera Zygarde, I thought you were going with the Necrozma direction, which I think is like the best Usum team ever drafted. That team that we had, but the Feeny also like perfectly reasonable.
And yeah, Feeny's been a staple for me. Yeah. I think Greg thought I was going the Necrozma direction as well, because they took a gamble and took something else.
Yeah, we had Lando Kart. We had Lando Kart. We wanted Feeny, but you took Feeny like one pick before us, unfortunately. Yeah, we're not gonna let Kart drop.
If you didn't take Kart, I would have taken Kart.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It was. So I get why you did
every time.
100%. Kart is so good. Just like it's crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, this team's pretty cool. And then on the other side, this is like the Mega Altaria kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mega Altaria in Gen 7 is like, I think, underpriced for what it provides. So pretty cool stuff there.
That's Nathan's favorite Pokemon, so we had to get it on the team. Shout out to Nathan. Yeah. But they wouldn't let me draft my favorite Pokemon, so what's up with that?
Yeah, but like this is exactly the kind of matchup that shows why Feeny is so good in Usum. You have Weavile and Infernape, and like, bro, can't ask for a better Pokemon than Feeny here.
I like a Scarfini to come. Like, I felt that looked like really threatening, like into a lot of things, especially if we didn't bring Rose.
I have to ask, did Sammy win a single mock? No disrespect, because this is the best.
It was like they were pretty rough, like mocks. Like he won a couple, but we definitely struggled this week.
Because this is the best matchup I've ever seen in my career, like from my POV, and like I'm not joking. I did 2 mocks, and then like other people had mocks there, but I didn't change the team. It was just one team built, and it was like, there's no way I can lose this. That's how I felt.
I'll actually be right back. Why don't you guys cover this game?
All right. So Mew lead versus Zeraora. Switch to Roselia immediately. We were just gonna see a knockoff. Yeah, gets rid of the Eviolite. Worst case, like a sleep powder, but Sleep Powder into a Misty Surge team doesn't seem too likely. And then Plasma Fist just freaking kills it after the Eviolate's gone. And then Scarf Overheat Infernape does actually get the job done here. 71% to the Zera.
Only Max Roll Modest killed me from that range with Overheat. And
it
I was
like
like,
a
okay,
lot.
there's no way he's all like, all
Modest,
of that. Like
Scarf, Overheat, High Roll, yeah. But unlucky, right? But T-Spikes goes up, and there's no Roselia anymore, because that was sack turn 3. Like, yeah. Once the terrain goes down, everything's getting poisoned. Doubles to Pidgeot here. Forces the Zapdos in. And Zapdos coming in is going to allow Nidoqueen entry. So rocks are going up afterwards, I assume. Yeah, baits the discharge. HPS only does 31%, so very Spadef Nidoqueen.
He actually was like offensive investment. I think it might have been Modest something, because that 31 is actually quite a lot. I'm not gonna
Wow. Yeah, so Lumberry Zapdos, good prep into the toxic Nidoqueen, but it's still going to get toxic, and it's still going to live the next HP Ice. So this HP Ice is still forced from Semi, so it takes the opportunity to go Bronzong. You see no lefties, and Light Screen. Okay, so it's a Screens plus Zygarde win condition kind of setup, which makes sense. You do want Reflect if you want to, survive the Weavile. Maybe you have E-Speed anyways to KO after like the rocks. I think you need +2 for that though. But yeah.
Yeah, but you'll see the set that makes like this Zygarde could never lose, even without Screens. Like that's how weak his team was to it. And like how natural bulky this spawn is.
Yeah, so a final Toxic is gonna force the natural cure eventually. And Pidgeot comes in on Earthquake, just yeah. Infernape is gonna get sacked because Zapdos actually can't switch in on Hurricane right now. I mean, it can kind of, but not really.
No, it's at 31.
Oh yeah,
so it would have
right.
just died to 2.
It can't. So Nidoqueen gonna be sacked here. Allows the Roost to come off, but you never risk your Pidgeot there. Makes sense. Here you could pivot Bronzong again, yeah. Never give up a sack for free. And another round of Screens is coming. Target again switches in, but Reflect goes up. Pidgeot comes in for free on this. Worst case is like Body Slam Para. No real problem. HP Ice gonna force the Mega next turn. And I think you just call it with Hurricane.
Is like max bulk, so it's like just gonna die. And not even outspeed up +1.
The good boy in chat is crazy, by the way. Oh no. Are you gonna do the same pivot to Bronzong through the Nidoqueen?
Yeah, there's no point sacking it. There's no point. Even if he discharges here, it doesn't make a difference.
He makes the call, but yeah. Light Screen going up. And actually, you don't even need Reflect anymore.
No.
Loki. Heavy Slams the Mew. Does nothing, but may as well Reflect here if you can get it off.
This was crazy when you actually revealed the Mew set. Mew was their best mon and they brought Seismic Toss.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Mew
was the only threat on their team.
Yeah. It probably needed to be like Nasty Plot or something. Yeah, Nasty Plot like Ice. Ice Fire Psychic maybe.
It was like defensive with Icium V to try to like help check Zygarde.
But here Feeney's gonna come in. Just kill the Weavile. Zapdos comes in. And you still have a little bit of turns of Light Screen, so just go hard Zygarde.
Yeah, just
no way to lose, yeah.
And even if the screen isn't up, you'll see this damage bounces.
Yeah, 27 is crazy. Dude, Zygarde is so good in SM.
Yeah, it's definitely. If you can get Zygarde Coco or Zygarde Zera, you should guarantee a 5-2 season. Like guaranteed, essentially. It's absurd those mons.
In probably Gen 7 see Zygarde go a bit earlier in the next tournament.
Yeah, Zygarde should have. I don't know, since you don't have the Mon stock up, but I feel like every time I've had Zygarde, I've only gone positive, so they should have a high win rate. I've had it a lot, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and then Astro also had like his best Usum season. Maybe not his best, but like one of his best seasons with Zygarde.
Yeah,
it's just a good Pokemon, I think. Yeah.
It's just too fast setup and Z move, you know?
There's a period where people weren't drafting it, which was weird, I thought. But of course it's back now.
Hey, it's getting some action in Gen 6 too, like.
Yeah. Still no in Gen 8, which is kind of interesting because there's no HP ice in that gen. Feels like it should be good, but nobody willing to take a risk yet. It's all the way down in 13 points in that gen as well, so I think it's only a matter of time before we see a Zygarde pop off in that gen.
Maybe,
yeah.
You even mentioned like 8 points in that gen
game,
too.
by the way.
Yeah, we do. So you have doogal versus Panda. Panda, one of the best SVers.
In mocks, I went like 2-10. This matchup felt really hard.
That's rough, yeah.
Yeah, and also, my set didn't save properly. Like, my Whimsicott was supposed to be U-turn. I saved it before the game got off Showdown. Went back into, like, right before I sent the challenge. Noticed it wasn't U-turn. I put it back on, and then I'm in the game. I don't have U-turn. So I got sabotaged.
Was that like a 2-tab kind of thing? I hate when
guess
that happens.
So. Yeah. So it definitely didn't help, but like the game wasn't easy, even if I had the proper move. But like once I saw that, like it was kind of like over. Like I lost all momentum, and then it went from like bad to worse. It was a snowball effect.
Yeah. Let's just watch it. We have Bug on Bolt. We have what was the other Terra? I don't know. We'll just call it Bolt.
We didn't bring it.
Yeah. And then Terra Ground Torn, which obviously is a good bring into, Jirachi, Bolt, Tentacruel, all that stuff.
I didn't see a single ground one like in mocks, actually.
It's just good versus the whole team. Like Hurricane plus Terra Blast.
Always strong coverage versus most teams. And then Terra Dark on Conk as well. So Bolt leads off into Meowscarada. We're just going to see a Terra Bug immediately, right? Yeah. Terra Bug. Bolt switches out on the AV Iron Crown, it looks like. Gets the Infernape in for an overheat on AV Torn. That's something I've noticed a lot in this DPL. So much AV Torn is kind of ridiculous.
I've seen that as well.
U-turns on the Jirachi into Meow, gets a free knockoff. Helmet removed on the Whimsicott. You're immune to Prankster, but
and I couldn't click knock here. I couldn't click U-turn here like I would have wanted to. But
yeah, you could have just
you didn't have U-turn. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but it didn't have it.
Yeah, you needed it for sure because there's just no way. Yeah.
So Bolt comes in. Rocks are up now, which is nice, but we're weak to flying, man. And this is AV Torn. It's gonna bounce off. Yeah, 45 from Draco. Very regenable. Yeah, and you're just gonna regen immediately. Give no time for breath. Luna comes in, but Meowscarada in again, and it's probably choice banded, right? We know from the damage on Whimsicott.
It was definitely banded.
Panda's a choice band merchant, so I mean, that's just what you expect.
I think the game ended when like I could U-turn with Whimsicott, honestly.
I don't know. I think the game kind of ended when he loaded up AV Ground Torn. It just seems inevitable.
I think the prep was just too difficult. Like the matchup was already hard, and Panda's prep was very, very good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't
like
think
Luna can hold it off for now, but you have to assume there's like a helmet somewhere. AV Luna doesn't exactly break immediately. A lucky Ice Punch freeze, but it's not gonna matter here because it thaws immediately. Alright, now Infernape gets to come in, goes for a Flare Blitz, knocks out the Iron Crown, so Infernape is forcing a little bit of progress, but it's progress on stuff that really Panda doesn't need anymore. Yeah. And the Torn always claims...
from here.
Now Sax to bring in Luna safely, but you could just Grass Knot, you know? Because you live the Ice Punch to it, KO the Luna, and then it's
KO
just...
everything else.
Yeah. I mean, like, Panda's the better player. He had, like, a great matchup. Like, it was an uphill battle, and, I don't know. I also played pretty, like, shitty. Like, I can't lie, but...
I don't know what more you could have done, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, I think your prep just had to... I think you just lost in the builder there.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a mean way, but...
No, he brought, like a really strong team, and it was really hard for me to beat, like...
Yeah, it's just...
Meowthra's Torn
good build,
was
good
so
plays.
Good. Yeah. This is why Meow needs to be banned, by the way.
Yeah. I swear you always lose to Meowscarada.
Yeah, no, and every time like there's an opportunity where like I can play it, like I'm rolling into it, like no matter what.
Yeah, unlucky, some might say. Oh, this is not the replay. Someone linked the actual live battle link instead of the replay. I guess we're gonna have some spoilers, but open replay in a new tab. Let me fix that on the dock real quick, actually.
This is pretty sad.
Alright, fix that on the dock. And yeah, so this is Craig versus Nala. If Craig wins, they tie up the series miraculously after down 4-1. So, big game here. But Nala, not going to let that happen too easily, right? Had a great World Cup and looking to extend that streak. This matchup, pretty interesting. I think the Zera is like so good here, right?
Yeah,
it's just
100%.
So good.
I mean, look at Plasma Fist.
Yeah, you don't switch in
like
to anything. And then D-Knight also pretty scary. There's a Hatterene, but not exactly 100% check to D-Knight. On the other side, like Cart kind of stopped by D-Knight if it's a bulky set. Aegis-Slash as well. Scarf Salazzle could revenge a lot of things here. Maybe the Pangoro if it's faster than Prim, which is a big if, right? Because it's naturally slower, but Prim often doesn't run that much speed. But here it totally could, right? Max speed Prim could just be faster than a bulky Rotom, faster than Pangoro guaranteed. It seems somewhat worth it to run max speed on Prim. So I'm gonna have to scout that out before you commit to anything. Aegis-Slash, I mean, also looks really good here. Like, a lot of strong Pokemon.
I think Craig had a strong matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
on
the
our side, like,
other side?
Our win con would Rotom, by the way.
Yeah, Nasty Plot Rotom.
Nasty Plot Rotom.
Kind of kills everything, yeah. There's no resist to the stabs. And it kind of takes hits from most of the roster. Mens has to get through Prim and Aegis-Slash and Crook. That's a little bit rough to ask for.
Yeah.
Nihilego always going to be hard-walled by Aegis-Slash. I guess you can bring Foul Play on it, right? It gets that.
Yeah. We also, like, Foul Play and Hex, like, with, like, T-Wave with an option we could have done, too.
Yeah, I feel like you could be Sub, and then
or
Foul Play.
Like, Nuzzle and then Hex, like, is something I think, like, we had, you know?
Yeah. Because what else is coming out on Hatterene?
Right.
So yeah, maybe Hex, maybe Foul Play, one of those. But there's also a Crook to get through, which, like, Grass Knot, and then I guess Dual Stabs. So 4 attacks, maybe, but then you don't have Sub to force the Aegis-Slash shield.
Right, and it's also our only rocker.
Yeah, it's a lot for Nihilego to do this matchup, but you can't do it all. So I'm gonna have to pick...
It was definitely kind of hard.
Yeah, alright. Let's look at this matchup. Alright, look at the game, actually. Hatterene leads off into Salazzle, and just takes a Sludge Bomb trade into Sash Salazzle. Okay, so Craig comes out on top in this.
Considering our D-Knight in the back.
And then poisons the Nihilego on top of that. So really
I never knew this, by the way, either. That's the first time I've ever seen that, I think.
He said, who else had no idea? I knew, but apparently everyone else just has no idea.
I never seen it before.
I don't think it's ever come into play, so it's like, you know what?
No, I've seen it before for sure. But anyways, Crook comes in on the rock turn. Probably just trade rocks, right? Yeah, if Hatterene comes in, you just KO it the next turn. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Rocky Helmet, though, gets a little bit of chip on the Crook, at least. Now Cart gets to come in. Dragonite comes in on this. It is Boots, so multi-scale intact does look to be defensive from 15%. But, okay, Draco's into the Kartana, and that's actually Spadef Kartana, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is,
yeah.
I think Panda called out this set, but I think they weren't, like, too convinced it would come, but...
I mean, yeah. It makes sense. Right?
It does,
wall
because,
non-fire like... D-Knights.
And Fire D-Knight was probably not coming, considering the rest of the team. There's a Hatterene, there's Mance.
That's a huge cuss tap parry. Oh my god.
Yeah. That was really bad for us.
That brought us back into the game because I thought we lost when we dropped the Draco in the cart.
I was looking at like, how are we beating this Kartana? Right? How? But that's how.
Only other way to kill it was with Zera.
Yeah. Oh, and the T spikes went up too. Oh, that's.
And I'm not sure. Sacking the Slazzle there was kind of crazy considering we done Aegislash, I thought. But I think he might just feared foul play or something that turn.
Yeah, maybe. But foul play on the shield form does like 10. Like.
Yeah.
Okay, now he sacked Crook.
I presume this was bulky Scarf since there was no boots and it was bulky.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
Makes sense because they're such a massive threat. Grim just takes his KO though. But that Earthquake probably reveals Fizz Def damage, right?
Yeah,
26? Yeah.
So you know it didn't have speed.
You know your Pangora's
so
faster.
This was kind of crazy here. Like, we're bluffing, like, Scarfed on it, or, like, whatever.
Well, Scarf is
you know why this is
slow.
crazy? You should pause this turn, because we have Play Rough as well.
Yeah.
We have
Play Rough.
Choppleberry, and he got it.
We have Play Rough, and I could, because, like, someone in our, like, you know the battle chat where, obviously Craig can't see?
Yeah.
I don't know if he can see it, but doesn't matter. No, we were in call, but we were like, oh, if we just Play Rough here, and we're good to win. Like, there's nothing. Obviously, this Rotom is set up, but like, there's nothing that can like Plasma Fist. Life or Plasma Fist is going to do a shit ton to a setup Rotom, and then Aegislash is just going to beat it as well at that point.
Yeah, because you can't set up your Rotom in front of
Zera. He clicked CC, and we were just like, oh no. When I saw that Choppleberry, I just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
We were slower than Prim, by the way.
even here, Dracoing was like, I don't know what, I didn't see the reason.
Yeah,
Draco.
Also wrong, probably.
Because you'll see what this Rotom lives on versus Aegislash is just so sad.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't Draco, I think Craig still won there then. If like Iron had killed the Pangoro.
And was that like
at
what?
18?
18?
18?
Yeah, probably kills, right?
Yeah.
So then you can drop a Draco and Superpower instead of drop it, like, you know, the Rotom would be forced to rest quicker.
And then now Aegislash comes in, takes the discharge, 73%. Is he Shadow Ball? Is that in range of Shadow Sneak? Nope. And Nihilego probably was in range of Shadow Sneak, especially if you like you King Shield for some toxic chip.
What's crazy is there's 3 different instances in that endgame that Craig could have won and they all went wrong. He also changed his Aegislash to Culberberry from Spell Tag at the end. Like that was the
like
last message he had
before?
in his...
I would have did it.
I don't think it was 5 minutes before, but it was the last message in his chat was like, oh, I'm just gonna change AG to Colbert to help with Rotom. So it's ironic as you know. To
help with Rotom.
It's because he was toxic, King Shield and stuff like that. So he was like just so like the longevity of it or something.
Okay.
Like if it needs to take a hit from Pangoro or whatever.
I think Colbert made sense. Like, cause like, you know, there's a cart, there's the Pangoro, like, too.
Yeah, it was just all those circumstances made it just so disappointing. Like, fair play to Nala. I'm definitely happy for them. My team put them in UK. They were impressive. So I was just there like, damn.
Yeah.
It's a very big win for him, you know. He beat, like, you know, one of the top players in, like, their best tier. It's gotta feel good to win the week, like, game 8 type.
Of course.
It was a good win from your team. Impressive SV. Like, you washed all the SV players except Panda. So
yeah, who, like, to be fair, like, Panda's like amazing.
I think Panda's low-key favored versus literally anyone in the SV pool. Like low-key.
Well, I gotta go. By the way,
yeah, I gotta go too. Actually, thanks for
having me, L5.
Right.
It's fun watching those games again. Not painful at all.
Yeah. Good, huh?
Peace out.
And now we have Balio versus Zero Fox Given, which is my series. Alright, so we got it all open. And I'm alone in the call now. This is so sad. No. But alright. Alright. But what we can do in the meantime, real quick. Let me just pull this up on the side. We're gonna watch some a music video real quick, because I think it's important for the context of the series, and I think it's also funny. Alright. That'll do. This is the Balyoslav diss track, yep. So this was, I did this on Friday, so this was game 0. This was game 0. Pastor, you might go, this ain't on you, bro. It's never you, king. Of course, it's not Aster.
Olivia, you a real shy lady, that's why you bitch, cause you won't try me. You a cry, baby, you be sipping on your high speed. Really mid-silly kid, let's violence rockabilly. Zero quid, over big gets old cook like crockpot chili.
Rhyming squawkabilly and crockpot chili? I'm too insane. I thought of that and I was like, I have to use that. It's too funny. I love that line. Yo, I cooked on that verse, or that Olivia portion. That was so funny. Really helpful. Thank you, thank you. Seems like I joined at the wrong time. No, the right time. This is a reference to week 1 when he got smashed by Ryze by a Thunderous. This goes hard. You want a bitch now. You fumble just like Patrick when he's looking for this. You think you're in the Mac with the lights too bright. Hey GSP, it can happen to anyone. I thought this was a clever line as well. No one else is gonna do it. This is so sad. We fight like an NFB. Good or maybe my chop, we calling the cops. I'd like to report a murder, we just killed our so you still want the smoke? It's like we're Darth Vader with the weepy force and chokes. Unfortunately, that goes both ways, as you're gonna see. You feel the pressure and you know that you got no hope. You just some broke folks with your pockets. Don't joke, we got some dope folks in the other pocket. My words a lot, that's why they call me the king. It's got a ring to it, let me tell you one more thing. Hacker only won a wolf because he smoked on staffing. Yeah, Sage. You got the whole squad. That was a good game, though. Even Legion didn't want you stinking up the room. So fast got hers in the mod and dig it out the room. Got another Aussie here, so just I'll dig it you too. Yo, can we get 5 big booms? You get boom, 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 boom. Speaking about paying respects, got some previous. This was really fun to write. The best. It ain't personal, but you gotta know who I'm talking to. Unlike a co-captain, you ain't got the talking to. That's why you self-mentioned topics said you didn't survive. Making light of scribble your name up when it's time to decide. PZZ has got the dog, but do you think you paid enough? Hope that shiny like a rock was worth it diamond in the rough. We just better on paper and a practice question the mind game. You need to make some read, but you ain't on the right page. You're starting rust up, we doing it by the book. No, it's Gypsy King. Take a look, we got a whole team shook. Let's go. So that was game 0. And now we can get into game 1. Always fun, right? Alright, we're back. Hey, look, a Thunderous. Yeah. Alright, so this matchup, this one was like pretty scary, right? Solid track, I guess. The boulder is like a pretty big threat, as well as like Chomp is scary. There was a Gren on the bench, which was also really scary. I'm not sure why the Gren was benched at all. Someone might be able to explain that one to me. Yeah. No Goku reference, 0 out of 10. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyways, Lucas, we have this team. What was the sets? I don't even remember, Loki. I know it's Pyapa Chestnut though, to cover for the Iron Boulder. Let's see. Terra types, we have Fairy on the Moth, normal Gliscor. Alright, normal Gliscor was like a really solid win con. Gren bench for Big Swallon and Stoice, yeah. Then we see Ghost on the Boulder, which is scary, of course. And then Flying Thundy. I mean, the Flying Resist is a Goldango, so fair enough. Then Fairy on the Swalot, which is probably not getting clicked. Alright, Iron Moth leads off into the Blastoise. We see a U-turn immediately. Oh, right, because we're eject pack lead overheat. But actually that's Specs Blastoise, which is pretty funny. Like at that point I'm thinking, why are you not just bringing Specs Gren? But sure, it got big chip on our guy. So Goldango's now low, which is really scary for stuff like the Boulder, the Thundy, especially because that's what our flying resist. So Chestnut gets a spike up, gets the heal off, and now Moth has to come in and take this Terra Blast. That actually reveals to be like very little special attack. So no problem here, Moth can take that on. And can just go for an overheat here. Gets big chip on the Blastoise, 41 is crazy. And then Goldango gets to come in on this, and we're actually Scarf, I think. So Shadow Ball going to revenge kill that. Garchomp gets to come in here. We expected Spadef Chomp or something like that to take on the Goldango, but it's actually Swords Dance. So gonna make the pivot through our Gliscor into the Val. Pretty scary turn, but then we're actually gonna be Banded Close Combat, which knocks it out from 88. So I'm assuming this was probably like Roselli Berry or something like that to try to lure in the Valiant, but it's not gonna work versus Banded CC. Freaking dead. Now Thundy gets to come in. Gliscor though is Spadef, so can come in on this now that we know it's like very little special attack. Is Nasty Plot though, and you're gonna see a Chalon Berry. So they actually predicted the Terra Normal Gliscor, or it's also for E-Speed, I guess. So double use berry there. Very cool stuff. It's actually able to take 2 Facades from this Gliscor, which is really important because it's gonna pick up a KO now onto something. Is it gonna be the Gliscor, or is it gonna be something else? We protect our Gliscor just for some Toxic Orb healing, and then I assume we're just gonna sack Moth. Yeah, Moth has done its job here. It's slower than Thundy and the Boulder, and kind of just set up fodder for the Boulder at this point, low-key, so I don't really need it anymore. Goldango comes into revenge with the Shadow Ball, but Swalot able to come in on that. But Gliscor can come in on Swalot no problem, and just go for another Facade. Could Earthquake there, but doesn't want the Thundy coming in, as we see a Gastro Acid, which is really cool. So I'm gonna put this Gliscor on a timer now until it switches out, but I don't think it's gonna switch out because it's now at 10% and slower than everything. So here, this is actually a pretty smart play. Lucas goes for a Protect here, blocking a Volt Switch. Volt Switch would have been scary to get positioning into an Iron Boulder or something, but he blocks that with the Protect, allows for Goldango to guaranteed get a KO this turn. Pretty cool. And now Moldbreaker Tinkaton comes in, just going to Shadow Ball again, because at this point we have Bandit Sneak Valiant, and then Dragonite at multi-scale, so it's really hard to lose at this position. Tinkaton maybe can like break the multi-scale if like it didn't get dropped there and KO'd the Goldango. We'd go Dragonite, just Earthquake it, or whatever move we have. I think it's Earthquake, and then the Chestnut is Pyappa, takes any hit from Boulder, and puts it in range of Bandit Sneak. So there's no way to lose this endgame at that point. So well played from Lucas. Really dominant showing there. Alright, next up, we have Who versus Aga. I know Aga's in the chat, so it'll be a fun one. So Who with his signature, like, regen, very fat team. This one's actually, like, boot spam, like, a lot of boots. With no item Pecharunt to cover for a spin Brambleghast, we're able to spin block that, and it's like Spikes Carbink, Rocks Treads, and then we just kind of like, eventually the Hydrapple will break this team. There is like no long-term switch-in for Hydrapple, like the Tinkaton maybe. Maybe if you want to Terra the Lapras, if you really want to, but outside of that, nothing really comes in on this Hydrapple over the course of a really long, drawn-out game. So that's kind of the game plan, right? Meow kind of keeps all the offensive guys in check by revenging them, or like just coming in on a flip turn, and just making sure nothing can get too out of hand. But yeah, main threats here I think are like a Psychic Noise Lapras, with like Freeze Dry, because Freeze Dry resist is like low-key Pecharunt, and so if you're able to Psychic Noise that down, it could be a little bit scary. But outside of that, pretty much everything is really well covered. The Torn could be scary if it's like Terra's Poison, to kind of like come in for free on Pecharunt turns all the time. It could potentially like Sludge Bomb Poison a bunch of things. That's what was happening in Mox, but eventually we did find solutions for that, although it does, you know, require a little bit of outplaying and stuff like that. But anyways, we see Terra Ground Torn, which is interesting because it actually gives Terra Blast coverage into the Carbink and the Treads, so it makes the set a little bit more threatening offensively, but defensively you're weak to Meowscarada, you're weak to Flip Turn, you're weak to Hydrapple, Giga Drain, stuff like that. Like, you kind of sacrificing a defensive Terra typing for an offensive coverage kind of Terra typing, which is fair enough, right? But honestly, we see ground, we're probably okay with that. Alright, lead Meowscarada into the Tinkaton, just going to switch to Treads. It's a really safe switch, can trade rocks here, no problem. And yeah, since we have so many boots, this hazard trade is always going to be favored for who? As you can see, Boots, Alamo, and we see Whirlpool Latios, which is certainly something, right? You don't see that every day. But it's just going to be a flip turn here. No, a wish. One step ahead, actually, predicts the Lapras coming in, and gets the wish in the air and goes Pecharunt. So nothing that Lapras can really do outside of like maybe Psychic Noise to block the wish recovery, which honestly would have been a perfectly fine play from Aga if he did click that, but anyways, knocks off the Pecharunt for 14 and takes a big Nightshade. Any chip on this Tinkaton is really impactful actually, so really nice Nightshade there. And now we get a parting shot into Boots Hydrapple, and something's going to have to take a hit now. Terra Water, and just Earth Powers the Tinkaton, so he calls that play correctly. Now Citrus Berry proc, so Pickpocket is active now. Now Knockoff into the Helmet Treads, once again chips the Tinkaton. Can potentially get a spin off if you want, but nothing is really threatened by hazard, so it's not really a priority. Instead, doubles to the Hydrapple for another hit off. And now Lapras comes in, reveals to be Spadef, but could potentially Giga Drain, could potentially go Pecharunt, elects to go Pecharunt, and Aga makes a great play, reads that and goes Ting Lu. So really nice play, but a Toxic is coming out. This Ting Lu can't really kill our Pecharunt, so judging that there's no Bramblegast, this Pecharunt is a little bit more expendable. So it goes for a parting shot. Now this Pecharunt is low, but again, it's not super needed here, and the Toxic on Ting Lu is going to be really impactful. Now it goes to Aloe on the Torn, just a reasonable play, but a double to, what was it? We went Aloe, but it was a double to Tinkaton. Right, so don't really want to get pickpocketed on our Boots, so probably just Wish here. I guess you're risking a knock as well, but you get the Wish and potentially can go into Treads, heal it up, all good. Now Carbink gets Whirlpooled and actually gets a really big Stone Edge off here. The crit is helpful, of course, but I'm not sure if it really changes any breakpoints, right? Because it can still come in on Lapras, or Lapras can still come in on Fickle Beam, but dies to Giga Drain. So it's like, did the crit matter? It's like, it's a less healthy Lapras, but I don't think it changes any breakpoints. It still can't come in on anything in particular. So another Stone Edge is going to get clicked here, surely. Yeah, as Ting Lu gets to come in here. But now, every time Ting Lu is in, it's a free Hydrapple. So Aga's making good reads here. Doubling to Tinkaton, we never let our Hydrapple get knocked here. And making a double to Torn. So he's making all these plays correctly, but like, out of all that, he's rewarded by taking rocks on Tinkaton and like a 3% chip on Treads from a double resisted rocks. And then Hydrapple can still come in on Torn because it's Terra Ground. Now Nasty Plot comes out, and can it live a Giga Drain? That's the question. It looks like it can. So Hydrapple does get that, and it's a weakness policy. Now this is a scary turn, right? We have a Pecharunt to sack, which is nice, but if it's an Agility Torn, that could be really dangerous. +4, Bleak Wind is actually a roll on our Aloe, but we don't want to risk that if we don't have to. So an Agility could be dangerous here, of course. But who makes the read that an Agility is not coming out? Sacks the Pecharunt correctly, and now Meowscarada can just revenge this, no problem. And now the weakness policy's gone, the Torn is a little bit chipped, and you can just go for a low kick to guaranteed knock out the Tinkaton. And when you knock out the Tinkaton with an attack, it can't pickpocket, so Meowscarada keeps its Boots. It was in fact Agility Torn. Unlucky, so he just didn't call the turn correctly. Anyways, now Latias comes in, Aloe gets to switch in on this for free, and can just throw up a Wish, because if Lapras comes in, we can pivot on that. But no doubles to the Hydrapple, one step ahead actually. So Boo playing really well here. Knowing Bleakwind didn't kill Hydrapple there, why didn't Agility instead on the Giga Drain? I mean, maybe you could have, but also it didn't reveal Giga Drain at that point. It could have been Leaf Storm. So maybe you just wanted to get your chip off if it was going to die. I don't know. I don't think the Bleakwind Storm was wrong that turn. And then that was like +2, and it did 73? 74. So quick maths, that's times 2. So it would have done times 3 damage after the weakness policy. It would have killed from full, I think, after the weakness policy. But that's an alternate timeline that we're not in. And a weakness policy Ting Lu as well, so forcing the sack of our Carbink there, because you don't want to take that hit with Hydrapple. Now Meowscarada comes in and just goes for a low kick. Knocks out the Ting Lu. I think maybe we could have, instead of sacking the Carbink, gone hard Meowscarada. But that being said, the health on Meowscarada is actually somewhat important, and the Carbink, now that we know it's ground torn, and the Lapras is already weakened, we don't really need it anymore. It's only really useful for Latias, which we have plenty of other checks for. Recover Latias, but now just going to get knocked off here by the Iron Treads, and a Whirlpool is going to miss, but we can't escape the Whirlpool by spinning. Next turn it's not going to KO our Treads necessarily, but also Treads is really useless into Palafin, Ground Torn, and Lapras, so not really a big deal if it does get weakened. As we go into Meowscarada on the Healing Wish turn, so the Torn has to come in and then switch out. Alright, triple Axle here on the switch to Lapras, but it's going to be in low kick range next turn. No problem here. We're actually not Flower Trick on this set. Oh, it goes for a U-turn instead. Fair enough. Into Hydrapple. Makes sense. Yeah, we're not Flower Trick on this. We're low kick instead, because triple Axle hits all of the Flower Trick targets anyways, besides like a Palafin, and Palafin into Aloe plus Hydrapple. Likely not going to get too much done anyways. So Hydrapple comes in here. Torn gets Giga Drained on, and here sacks the Iron Treads, just playing very safely to get the Meowscarada in, and can just go for a triple Axle. If we miss, it could be bad, right? But if we do miss, there's still Hydrapple that lives and can potentially 1v1 the Palafin after anyways. This just goes for a more straightforward win path. Knocks off the Rindoberry, and it is bulk up Palafin, so maybe there are some chances, but just going to U-turn to Hydrapple, and you're going to see Drain Punch does 38%, which is not a lot of damage, and goes for the freeze, respectable, but Giga Drain is going to knock it out from here, and that's going to be the game. So Who playing pretty well. Aga had the Agility Torn, but not able to click it in that game, unfortunately, for him. Good for me. My team won. Shout out. And Hydrapple once again putting in an absolute clinic. Yeah, this Pokemon is actually so legit. Alright, next we have Hacker versus Gypsy King, sorry. And Gypsy's using this like hyper fat, pretty much semi-stall team. There's a Mega Venu on here. There's a Clefairy on the bench as well. Hacker King, yeah. I think Aga's a good player, but Who's just on another level with that semi-stall kind of build. Alright, so Mega Venu's on the bench. We see a Kyurem Black, which is really scary for a team like this. Yeah. Unfortunately can't win off the bench. No. Anyways. This Torn is so good in this matchup. It's a knockoff Foul Play. Lum to catch the Prankster Will-O-Wisp from Bayonet. Foul Play just kills it from full. The only real check to Torn is the Thundy, and maybe Kyurem at high HP. So keeping that in mind, this Torn looking crazy. That being said, there's threats on both sides, right? This Kyurem is an alpha threat. Keldeo as well is a little bit scary, right? Because we benched the Mega Venu. But Mega Venu into this team doesn't really do too much offensively. It's kind of just free switch-ins for Metagross and Kyurem, and that's not exactly something that you want. well played by Who team, was very threatening in prep and mocks. Yeah, it's a strong team. Region spam, and so just some strong guys as well. Anyways, this game, let's get right into it. So Chansey leads off into the Kyurem Black. Good lead for Hacker. Probably just going to see rocks going up from the Chansey as the rocks do go up, but it is HP invested sub Kyurem, which is the worst case into Chansey, and it's Hone Claws as well. So Cresselia is going to have to be able to take this on. Fusion Bolt doesn't quite do a KO though, so Moonblast going to break the sub, and could be a roll this next Fusion Bolt, but 46 on the next hit. Moonblast going to chip his Kyurem pretty low. After rocks is going to be at like 40%. I guess after leftovers it'll be at 46 or 45. But now Crook comes in threatening Scarf Foul Play, which, you know, it does click here, and Blastoise gets to come in on that. And now Skarm comes in on the Rapid Spin. It is Helmet Skarm, and it's actually double rocks, so rocks are going right back up. It's actually a very fast Skarm, able to outspeed most Blastoise and Toxic it. So eventually this Skarm is going to get Scald Burn, but what it is going to do is guarantee rocks up, which is what we want, right, into Thundy and Kyurem. That's our way of limiting the Kyurem. So a Scald Burn here with a crit is going to be unlucky, but able to roost it off, no big issue. If the spin, just going to rock next turn anyways. So eventually these rocks will go up. It's just on Hacker if he wants to switch on one of these rock turns, but instead he reveals Rest actually. So is it Rest Talk? Who's to say? We're going to find out this turn. And it stays fully asleep, so no Rest Talk. We can just go Torn here and get off a knockoff on this these lefties. But Metagross comes in, takes a knockoff. With Colbur Berry does 13. So it's a bulky Metagross, but Foul Play going to easily 2-hit KO from that range. Rocks go up, but that's going to be big for Hacker actually. Rocks going up. But with rocks up on both sides, it's still okay for Gypsy. Chansey comes in on this Thunderous, kind of stonewalls it outside of like Life Orb, knockoff into Superpower. Now Blastoise gets to come in and wake up, potentially go for a spin. Goes for a Toxic, trying to predict the Kyurem to come in. No such luck. Torn does come in though. Doesn't want to go Skarm and keep the rocks up because, you know, these two coming in on that is actually pretty threatening at this point. Goes for a knockoff, gets rid of the lefties, and is the Torn going to get burned? No. So nice Scald Burn avoid there. U-turns out into Chansey just to set up rocks again. Doesn't want to go Skarm this turn. Would rather go Chansey and rock. Makes sense. Now Chansey into Keldeo. We're going to sack our Skarm to Secret Sword. Yeah, that's Specs Secret Sword, and it's just going to KO. Crit did not matter. Now Torn gets to come in and just go for a Air Slash, right? So Bayonet gets a little bit chipped, and now it's just a Foul Play turn. So Blastoise gets to come in on that nice pivot. Now Air Slash, we get a flinch, could be nice. We do get a flinch. Do we get another one? No, we just missed the Air Slash. So the rest is going to go off, but it is somewhat of a rest loop here, and Hacker has to avoid a flinch on the last turn every time. We do get a crit, and now if a flinch happens this turn, the Blastoise is dead, but gets the rest off. And now misses the Air Slash, so this rest loop has been avoided from Hacker. And eventually the spin is going to come off, I think. Yeah, this turn, so spins away those hazards, but here, threatening the Air Slash, forces a rest, goes into Chansey on the rest, and the rocks are going right back up, I'm pretty sure. He does not want to play this game without rocks. But now Kyurem gets a free switch in, and here Hacker just goes for a raw Outrage. Does not sub in front of the Chansey. Now this makes sense if you're expecting the Crook. I know everyone was thinking after this game, why did he not sub? Well, let me tell you why he didn't sub, because I actually figured this out. If Crook comes in, then on a sub, you're taking chip and you're actually dead to 2 foul plays. Whereas if you just outrage into the Crook, you live versus the Crook. The Crook does not KO you. You cried when you saw him outrage instead of sub? Yeah, but if you sub, I'm pretty sure foul play just 2-hit KOs you. So you don't actually get a KO out of it. Outrage is the only way to guarantee a KO in this position. Where, like, sure, sub probably should have been clicked, but I see the vision, you know. Regardless, he locks into outrage. And he's actually out of range of even Secret Sword here, but Gypsy, he's packing that Focus Blast and knocks out the Kyurem. Crit didn't matter. And now Bayonet gets to come in, gets the Mega off. Torn gets to come in on this though, and dodges the Wisp. And the next Wisp is going to go into the Lumberry, and Foul Play is going to knock it out. So this Torn is back in business. There's 0 turns slept on the Blastoise. Goes Thunderous doubles to Keldeo, but the U-turn is clicked, so pretty nice. Now Keldeo trade is about to occur. This is Specs Keldeo versus Scarf Keldeo, and in this matchup, Scarf Keldeo beats Specs. Because it both live, but outspeeding is really big. And now Blastoise having no sleep turns is really big, because it's actually 3-hit KO'd from Secret Sword from this range, 31. And then Thunderous doesn't appear to have T-Wave, so it's just going to get swept by Keldeo here, and Gypsy pulls that one back from a really dire position early game. It looked really tough for him, but the Torn able to do a lot of damage in the mid game, and then Scarf Keldeo able to clean up. Kind of a crazy game, I'm not going to lie. But anyways, we move on to PZZ versus Carson. Hacker played that really well. I mean, Gypsy also played well, I think. Thank you for the experience, yeah. It's always winnable for that guy. Anyways, PZZ versus Carson. Currently, ZFG is up 3-0. And, yeah, this is a crazy game. So here, we're going to see lead Glacier versus lead Moltres. We see a nasty plot into the Icicle Crash, does 71, triggers Weakness Policy, and Berserk. This is a +5 Moltres. This game is so funny, yeah. So Glacier can only live this if it's AV. So goes for a Fiery Wrath and actually lives. But I think that's AV, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 90% sure. And then Fiery Wrath is going to flinch, which is obviously annoying if you're PZZ. But now, Coco can come in to revenge it, but PZZ doesn't really want Lando coming in at this point. Lando's a big threat. Even with Mana Buzz, that's a U-turn to DNC, rocks are going up. It's just not a good sequence for him. So PZZ actually goes Latios and freaking dies to Sucker Punch. So the nice 2-for-1 from Carson with his lead Moltres, and now you low-key don't even have to sack the Moltres necessarily, but he does. Doesn't want to take chip on the Lando unnecessarily. Moltres has done its job. And now Mana Buzz comes in on the U-turn. Carson predicts that correctly, and now DNC comes in, and those rocks are going up, most likely. Yep, rocks going up. And now Keldeo gets to come in on this Melmetal, even in terrain, not going to KO with Thunder Punch, and we're threatening like an Aura Sphere, something like that. So Coco kind of forced to come in on said Aura Sphere. You can't really take the chip on Melmetal here, or else you will pretty much lose to DNC very soon. Wait, the thumbnail is nasty work. Thank you, man. Thank you. Alright, Coco does get a heal off, though, from that Aura Sphere switch in, but Lando comes in, goes for a knock, gets rid of the Shuka Berry, so now actually threatening a KO with Earthquake, but Mana Buzz comes in on the Earthquake. So good play from PZZ, but a U-turn is just going to happen into DNC. There's nothing that he can really do to punish this. And now Moonblast is pretty free value. Earth Powers, though, predicting the switch to Melmetal or Coco. I think Melmetal, to be honest. But here, Manny goes for a Toxic and misses, so no harm, no foul. Another Toxic goes off, but now Meteor Beam gets the +1 on DNC, but it's Charty Berry Mana Buzz, so able to live that, but it still does a lot of damage, puts it in Rock's range, and now this DNC is just going to pick up the KO with Moonblast. Now something else is going to have to take this hit unless Blastoise just KOs it from this range, which it will actually do because it's Scarf or Water Spout. Maybe not Scarf, but it is Water Spout. Now Lantern gets to come in on that. Can just go for a T-Bolt here, pretty safe. If Coco comes in, it's taking a big chip, and you can just free switch to Lando next turn. Earthquake is unguardable at this point. Yeah, AV Lando takes nothing from Dazzling Gleam, and Earthquake is really, really free to click here. Does 64%, but doesn't want to take a Scarf Surf, and goes Lantern instead, able to take 2 of those, and just knock out this Blastoise with Thunderbolt. Even Coco can't come in on that turn because it would have KO'd, and PZZ just forfeits. It's a complete one position for Lando plus Keldeo plus Aegis Slash. Like everything wins, right? Mostly the Lando, but yeah. Pretty dominant early game. I think maybe the Latios didn't have to get sacked there, but yeah. That's going to put us up 4-0 in the series. And now we have J-Ricky versus Meta Riolu. This is interesting because Meta, he was like really good in World Cup 1, but hasn't really performed since then, which is interesting. So, looking to get back in the win column, but J-Ricky not going to make it easy for him. He's like doing pretty well in mocks. This is a team that I kind of built most of it for him, and then like maybe a little bit of adjustments, but yeah, this build was really strong. I think the idea is Rocky Helmet, Poison, Tusk is able to taunt down Core for DD Dragonite to sweep in the end game, and it's actually Silk Scarf, which actually changes the roles quite a bit on Enamorous and the Sneasler. So really good stuff. The spin is also really consistent into this team, and Swampert's the only rocker, so we don't even necessarily need to run boots on Dragonite, which, you know, frees up that Silk Scarf slot. Now this is Specs Rotom lead, which is pretty much always getting great value unless you miss Hydro Pump, but we're just not going to miss. Shout out. AV Iron Crown should stall out the Enamorous for long enough to find wind paths with our Dragonite and stuff, and if it is Scarf Enamorous and eventually breaks through the Iron Crown, we also have Scarf on the Darkrai with Foul Play also to cover for a DD Gouging Fire. So honestly, this team, very strong. There's also Healing Wish Mesprit to give Tusk a second life, because it's actually so hard for meta to kill Tusk in this matchup. It's so difficult. The showdown name is so fire. Gigaton D's nuts. Yep. Anyways, it is Poison Tusk. And on the other side, it's Stellar Enam. So when you see Stellar, usually you're going to think it's going to be choiced in some way, and it's Fairy Corv. So Fairy Corv, probably just there to stop like DD Dragonite. Great Tusk as well. It's a good defensive typing into those guys. Darkrai as well, so good bring there as a defensive typing. Now Darkrai comes in, goes for Dark Pulse, and freaking dies to Specs Hydro Pump. Really nice turn from J-Ricky, and now Enamorous going to come in, and with the Stellar Boost is able to knock out our Rotom, but the damage has been done. We just wanted a 1v1 trade, but crucially the Swampert did not have to take on that hit, but it does have to take a Psyshock here, which a crit is pretty nice here. Knocks off the Mesprit Citrus Berry, shout out to J-Ricky, and rocks are going up here. Now Gouging Fire does get a sub up on the Thunder Wave, which is really nice for him, but Tusk does have this on lock. It's like almost max defense, so even +1 Flare Blitz is not a 2-hit KO, and Earthquake gonna break the sub. Rocky Helmet gets it very low, and even if this Tusk does get really low, it's pretty likely that we're able to maneuver a Healing Wish into it if necessary. But now we Terra Poison, goes for the Temper Flare, and actually here, I think the Akaberry Defog is actually paying dividends, but a Taunt next turn to prevent the Roost, but no Roost is happening, so U-turn. Meta makes the right reads, but the right reads result still in a very weakened Corviknight with no Akaberry intact for the Dragonite. So Tusk really doing its job here. Now, Tachyon Cutter into Swampert only doing 18% combined, so it could be Assault Vest at this point. We don't really know. But now Gouging Fire is going to come in and actually KOs the Mesprit. So no Healing Wish in this game, but Darkrai is going to come in and just Dark Pulse. Enam could have come in there, but we have the Iron Crown. Enam does come into Revenge, and with the Stellar Boost, this Earth Power is going to do quite a bit of damage, but the next Earth Power is going to do quite a bit less. Now Psyshock going to pick up a KO. Corviknight can't really switch in on this plus Volt Switch. And now Great Tusk, even at 50, is able to take on this Sneasler very comfortably. It's on a balloon, so you can't just Earthquake it, but Acrobatics only doing 22%. Even without the item, it would have killed. Temper Flare going to put this in E-Speed range guaranteed. So Tusk goes down, but for a price, right? Sneasler now in range. Could be Upper Hand, but I think once you reveal Acrobatics, it's really hard to fit Upper Hand on a set like this. Like CC Upper Hand Acrobatics, you're completely walled by Mesprit, so you really need Poison Stab for a set like this. You also be walled by Dragon Knight anyways, so you're breaking the multi-scale for what? Now Dragon SD Knight is just able to 1v1 this Corv. Defog U-turn means it's probably not going to be body press plus Iron Defense, because then you're losing Roost. It's not going to be Iron Defense plus U-turn. That doesn't make sense, so it's just a free Dragon Dance. Get up 2 Dragon Dances on the U-turn. Breaks the multi-scale, but with the Silk Scarf, this is a guaranteed knockout. And so that's going to be the game. We do have Fire Punch for the Corv. And shout out to J Ricky, man. A really dominant game, I'm not going to lie. There wasn't really any situation where he was like on a super back foot. Considering the Tusk was able to live 2 from gouging fire, no real way for this one to go super wrong for him. And that's going to be the 5-0 sweep into Balio World Tour. The rest of the games are just for differential. Right, Soggy Doggy Sage versus Genius X, 2 of the best players in the format. And so it's going to be a good game, you already know. Average Sneasler performance, yep. Alright, so we see this Jumpluff here. Jumpluff is just the best Zarude counter available on the roster, right? With Encore, it outspeeds, could potentially Strength Sap. But yeah, Zingin' such a fire custom avatar, he does. But anyways, let's see. This is going to be Specs Raging Bolt with Terra Dragon. Just trying to get the turns right if the Carbink did come, which it did. Hey, well, there's another important thing about these games. What's that? Please inform me. Anyways, Weavile is going to be SD, potential win condition here. Arachnid is going to be Webs. And then Tinglu is going to be Citrus. Shout out to J Ricky. With actually Payback, I'm pretty sure we still have on the set to deal really good damage to Lando after a Ruination. But yeah, let's get into the game. We see a lot of Terra fighting from Soggy Doggy Sage, indicating probably an offensive Zarude. Although, we could potentially be Swords Dance, bulky Drain Punch. But yeah. Now on the other side, like I said, Terra Dragon, and then the Jumpluff is Terra Dark. A spoiler alert, TSB, goddamn. Lando leads off into the Raging Bolt. There's a very good chance that we're actually faster than Lando's. A lot of them were max SPDF in mocks, which this one is faster in one-shots. But Sage, of course, gets rocks up and then freaking dies to Draco. So now Skuntank comes in. Low-key, you could just stay in with Raging Bolt and get your -2 Draco chip. It would still do like 70% to Stunfisk, most likely. Depending on set, of course, but we expect like Rocky Helmet, Aftermath, Fizdef, just to limit the Weavile and the Zapdos, stuff like that. These don't really have great switch-ins otherwise. Now, Zarude's going to go for a Throat Chop, interesting. So no knockoff, I'm not really sure why. But, yeah, okay, just is Throat Chop, sure. But we're Synthesis, so able to heal even through the Goldango, which would block Strength Sap. And now Arachnid is able to come in on this Goldango, make it rain, gonna bounce off. And now I think we just set up Webs, right? Because there's no Cinderace. Cinderace was on the bench. There's no threat of like court change. So gonna get those Webs up. And now Tinglu comes in on the Latios. Pretty safe switch, but Reflect goes up. So it should just be a free Ruination here. Zarude does come in on that. Procs at J Ricky, Citrus Berry, and now Jumpluff gonna come in, but it's actually gonna get Acrobatic on the switch, so just a great set by Sage. And now Raging Bolt comes in, has to get the turn right. Is it Draco versus a Volt Switch on the Carbink? Goes for a Dragon Pulse actually, doesn't KO the Stunfisk, so this is like AV Stunfisk or something. But gonna make the switch to Carbink as Zing doubles to the Zapdos. Goes for Brick Break to get rid of these screens, but it's actually Helmet on the Carbink and gets a Spike Up. This is going to be really big. And actually is also carrying Reflect, and this allows a switch to Goldango because you can't Brick Break the Goldango. Zing calls that with the knockoff, but it's Colbur Berry, very defensive Goldango. So, no problem for Sage. And just gets a nasty plot for free on the Tinglu switch, and that's going to KO from 47. So now, with Reflective, it is kind of hard to revenge. Has to go Raging Bolt. Potentially take Chip on it. It could be faster, though. Actually, with the Webs, it's definitely faster. So can't just go for a Volt Switch here. allows them to pivot out into the Weavile, preventing the Latios from coming in and setting up the screens for a second round. But Zarude is going to come in. Raquinet's going to get sacked here. I think probably maybe better would have been hard Zapdos that turn, because it's really hard to click anything besides Drain Punch on that specific turn. But Zapdos coming in would chip down the Zarude, but maybe it gets Healing Wished anyways. Hard to say. So Raquinet goes down. Raging Bolt comes in to revenge kill this. There's no more fairy types, so Dragon Pulse is just a KO guaranteed. And now Latios comes in, and the Raging Bolt is sacked to Draco Meteor. Now Weavile comes in. We are SD, we can Swords Dance on this, but Reflect going up into Healing Wish is like really hard to stop, right? So it just goes for a knockoff. And now it's a 50-50 for the game, because Zarude comes in, can Drain Punch the Weavile, but if Zapdos comes in on a Drain Punch, I think Genius would win, because he can just go for a Thunder's Kick and weaken the Zarude in range of the Weavile, and then Weavile might just sweep. Although Goldango might live, hard to say. It is going to be at 65, so maybe with no item it just lives anyways. But switching to Zapdos would allow maybe a Brave Bird. So I don't think we had Brave Bird though. I think he took it off. It was another 50-50 after. No, I think at this point the game's over, right? Because Zapdos can't win. Did we take Brave Bird off, or do we just not want to take the recoil? Just go for a crit instead? Gold always lives knocked from Weavile. Yeah, I guess it did, yeah. SD twice allows Reflect and Healing Wish, which means Zarude lives anyways. So it's just a worse endgame. Now, knock on the Latios was definitely correct. But here, Sage gonna pull it out, and that's gonna be the game. So, 5-1 now, and now we have me versus Chipboard, and man, man. So, my sets, right? I just have offensive Gallade. I found having something faster than Chomp was really important, versus like Swords Dance. Wasn't sure about the +2 calc for Zarude. Yeah, because it would have, well, it would be +4 versus Reflect Up, max HP Zarude. Can't believe L5 didn't click the guaranteed win button. Thank you, TSP. Very cool. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But offensive Gallade, offensive Torn as well. I'm just Life Orb 4 attacks. And then Klefki is going to be Helmet. It's actually very fast to outspeed Scizor, with Reflect going before Bullet Punch, and then Rocky Helmet Chip racking up, Spikes up, and Foul Play, all that stuff. Crocodile here is going to be physically defensive with Helmet, just a nice Scizor and Garchomp answer because I have Foul Play for SD Scizor. I have Taunt to, you know, keep Mana Buzz low, all that stuff. Bronzong is going to be a cool set. It's Rest, or no, it's not Rest, it's Block, Psywave, Toxic, Rocks. So what this does is it actually traps Starmie, which is important for my Empoleon, which is going to be my win condition. As you can see, if a Starmie goes down, my Agility Subpataya Empoleon does kind of just win if it's not Scarf Chomp. True Forgot +4 into Reflected, same as +1. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, Subpataya, Surf Ice Beam with Agility, really strong set here. And let's just get into the game. So Bronzong leads off into Stunfisk. I'm just going to trade Rocks here, I think, or do I Toxic first? I Toxic first because I want to rack up Chip on this and I can Rock next turn anyways. If Starmie comes in, I can just block it the next turn and get that guaranteed trap off. But Mandibuzz comes in, and this is just a Crocodile turn. I'm Helmet. I'm thinking I can just take a knockoff here, no big deal, and then taunt it next turn. But here we see a sub, and my Crocodile is actually lacking Stone Edge. I'm Foul Play plus knockoff and Earthquake taunt. So Nasty Plot Mandibuzz, I do get the taunt here, but it's actually faster than my Crook, which is crazy because my Crook is actually really fast. So this is danger, right? I'm just going to sack my Torn at this point because the Stunfisk is full HP. I don't really need my Torn, and I need to sack something to this to break sub. So Icy Wind is going to break the sub. It is going to remain taunted, and now the only thing I really have for this is Empoleon. Everything else just kind of freaking dies. So Empoleon is going to come in. Only 32 from Heat Wave is pretty reasonable. I go for Surf. I maybe could have Ice Beamed there for a little bit of extra chip, but I don't think that makes a big difference. I still need to sub down to Pataya Berry, which puts me at 2%, which is in Bullet Punch range, unfortunately. So the way these sequences worked out, my Empoleon is not able to sweep here. Unfortunate, because the Scizor is going to be able to Bullet Punch, but I do at least know the Bullet Punch is coming, so I'm able to save my sack fodder, which is going to be important. I could potentially block a spin with that, which is going to be important because my spikes are going up now. Natural Gift Fire does not KO my Klefki, so I'm able to get up a fast Reflect before the Bullet Punch, and now the Scizor is pretty much out of commission. Double Hazard's up at 55, and Close Combat just going to knock it out. He doesn't really have a good switch in to Gallade, and now I get a freebie here. Mandibuzz just going to die to Close Combat. That crit did not matter. Fun thing about Oras is the default Gallade calc is 100 attack, so he thought he lived, and he was upset about this crit, but it just didn't matter. I figured you can't have the special attack to do that much to Torn and Empoleon while also being faster than my Crook while also living CC. It's just not possible. Is Natural Gift Technician boosted? No, it's just 100 base power. Why no SD on Gallade? It's actually pretty revengeable in terms of like Bullet Punch, Scarf Chomp, and Starmie, where just 4 attacks. I do need the coverage to hit everything. There's a Roselia on the bench, so I kind of wanted the Zen Headbutt because I don't like getting Spike sacked on this team. I need Knockoff for the Mesprit, and I have Shadow Sneak to be faster than Starmie. Now here I am -2, so I'm just going to use up my Empoleon sack here, block the Rapid Spin potentially. And here, I just want to go Gallade, and here if I don't get burned, a Knockoff through Colbur into Shadow Sneak is a 2-hit KO. And so I will just win the game on the spot if that happens, because Zong will just sweep the last 2. But here, Scald is going to instantly burn me, unfortunate. And it is going to be Colbur Berry. So now I have to go Bronzong and potentially give up a spin. I think going Gallade was still correct, because if I go Bronzong originally, I don't know the full set. It could just spin on me, and that's going to be a little bit rough, right? So Bronzong in, I do get a free Toxic here at least, as Gravity gets clicked. And now I know the Garchomp is going to come in here. I could double to Crook here, but instead I just go for a Psy Wave, because my Crook, I do really want the HP on it. I mean, double would have been nice, but I guess I got a low roll on Psy Wave, so it's kind of tough, but Starmie also could have just Scalded there. It's not exactly rushed to go Garchomp there. It could have spun as well. It could be Scald, Recover, Gravity, Spin. Just go for a spin that turn. I didn't want to go Crook on that. So I'm going to sack Gallade here on the Earthquake, and now my Crook gets to come in with Gravity up. Can just go for an Earthquake, pretty free. Garchomp going to trade HP on me, but only 26%. So 36, good trade here. Now here, I probably should have knocked off in hindsight, but I think Earthquake was also a fine play. So Earthquake into the Mesprit, and now I have to go Bronzong because I need my HP on Crook. And Mesprit is going to go for a Healing Wish. So Chomp has to come in on Bronzong at least. So I do get a free Toxic on the switch to Starmie because Chomp can't stay in. Now I'm thinking my Bronzong does have good odds to just win this game, but I miss Toxic, which is going to be pretty crucial here because I lose a turn. So I have to Toxic again this turn. Scald again instantly burns me. And so now a Gravity into switch to Chomp is really devastating. So I have to block this turn. So I get that play right. Chomp can now no longer switch in on Bronzong, which is all I really needed that turn. I need the Starmie dead. So Starmie lives on 1 from that Psy Wave. Also unlucky because now he gets another Scald into me, which is going to put me in outrage range. So a lot of things going bad back to back, but it's still okay, right? Because Crook will live 2 Earthquakes, and Earthquake will 2-hit KO. But this does allow him to go for Outrage, which will 2-hit KO my Crook. Now here, all I have to do is click Earthquake, because in Oras, if you die to Helmet, you lose as the last Mon. This is a mechanic that was shown in J-Skirf versus Darkrai in DCL. But I just have a stroke. I'm not gonna lie. I clicked the only move that can lose me the game here, which is Knockoff. And the thing is, Knockoff still wins 75% of the time. But there's no defense for this. I should have Earthquaked 100%. So now what happens is Outrage gets the 2-turn, which is a 50% chance, and then he gets Confused, which is also a 50% chance, but now he can Earthquake, get around my Helmet. It just slipped my mind that he could Earthquake and avoid Helmet the next turn. Yeah. So I choked. I choked so bad. But we still won the series already, but like this really ruined my Sunday, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Tough. Like the insta burn on my Bronzong and the Gallade into 2-turn Outrage into no Confuse. It's a lot of hacks, but also I did it to myself, you know, because I could have just Earthquaked. And the only way to lose is a turn 1 crit on my Crocodile. Darth Vader went against us this game. Yeah. Shout out to Darth Vader. Forcing chokes. Unlucky. Now we have Greg versus Tidal. And now this team from Greg is actually pretty cool. It's a lead Endeavor Rocks DNC. Always lives Earthquake from the likely Garchomp spreads that we were seeing. And so basically this is designed to always take an Iron Head after Mega. So if in the case that we do force out Chomp turn 1, because I think Chomp lead is pretty reasonable into this team. We were seeing Chomp lead a lot. Yes, TSP, I get it. Thank you for reminding me. Only like 10 times the stream now. But if we're able to force out the Chomp, like if they don't want to take the Moonblast, they go Skarm. We get Rocks up. And then potentially we can live the Iron Head. Well, we Moonblast first. We Moonblast the Chomp, and then we Rocks on the switch to Skarm. So if the Skarm comes in raw, we just Moonblast into Mega Rocks, live the Iron Head, and Endeavor down the Skarm. We always live Iron Head, and Skarm is going to get put in Rocks range, pretty much guaranteed. Which one of us is trading for Tidal at mids? Hopefully me, bro. Hopefully me. But yeah. So that's a cool interaction there. Oh my god, jump scare. Sorry about that. Sound muted. My bad, guys. Garchomp gonna lead off into DNCs. This is what we were expecting. We actually outspeed in regular form, which means this is a minus speed Garchomp. And so now we get the Rocks up and the Endeavor into Skarm, which is exactly what we wanted from this. It's Rocky Helmet, but Iron Head is clicked, so no chance to Roost. Now Crook comes in, goes for a Crunch, gets the Moxie boost. This allows a forced Coco because nothing else resists Crunch. So Coco comes in. We do have the Tangrowth here to switch in. So Tangrowth does come in. It's a max Spit F Assault Vest as Snorlax makes the double. And now Garchomp comes in on the knockoff. Just going to die to HP Ice next turn. And so this is a great start for Greg. But now Mew comes in. And we have a Latios to come in on this. But Nasty Plot here is really big. So here, there were a lot of Mews that we saw in prep being Nasty Plot and Calm Mind. But all of them were like very bulky and hard to kill with like Roost 2 attacks. Now, so Latios is actually able to live like a bulky Ice Beam even at +2. So we're just going to go for a Toxic here. Just trying to chip down this Mew and put it in range of our Scarf Crook. However, it's Lum Mew, which is actually so unexpected, but also makes a little bit of sense, right? Into Toxapex, just to avoid like toxics and stuff like that. Take T-spikes if you need to. But we were seeing like 100% Z usage in mocks, so this was like a really unexpected thing for Greg. And here we go Steela because Psychic, Ice, Roost was the most common set that we saw in mocks. However, it's T-Bolt and just kills our Selly from full after rocks. So now we go Crook, which doesn't kill this Mew because it is bulky, but it reveals Giga Drain. And that puts it out of range of any of our hits. Because Toxapex is actually AV, so this was actually low-key still winnable for Greg on this turn. Like, it looks bad, right? But maybe we should have Draco'd. I think Draco is probably more correct, because you Draco first, and if Roost, then you Toxic. And then that chip allows for Crook to revenge, but still. There's no ground resist. So Crook being Scarf is a really strong win condition. So what Greg needed to do here was go Pex first, and then Sludge Bomb to get some chip on the Mew, put it in range of Crunch. And I think that would have been fine, because you Crunch here, you force it out, and then next time Crook comes in, you're threatening a Moxie Earthquake sweep, like really closely. So I think it was still reasonable, but sacking the Selly and then sacking the Crook first was just the wrong order of operations, and Greg's going to get punished for it. So that's going to be the game. It just sweeps us. As you can see, like, T-Bolt not going to even put it in Giga Drain range, and Scald actually gets the burn, so doing 21%, which means the Sludge Bomb would have done a little bit more, and as you can see, the Crunch did 66, so it would have died, but unlucky. Tidal pulls out the win, and that's going to be the game. So GG, well played. It's a good Mew set, but we had outs that were not selected, but still won the series, so can't be too upset. But yeah, my game was really bad from me, unfortunate. So I will be upset. Alright, game 1. We're going to the last series here, which is going to be PTE, Pardon the Eruption, versus Slime Season. Game 2 is Undead. My goat Wagon Fruit. Yeah, we're getting some Wagon Fruit gaming, guys. Strap in. Are we dropping a diss track this week? No, the only reason I dropped a diss track was because of all that drama in DPL General from Balio. And also because Olivia's on that team, and I've been telling Olivia to drop a diss track for like half a year now, so I figured I'd get the ball rolling and drop a diss track on her first. You know, it's just a fun thing to do. Anyways, Hunter Z Infected versus AM22. These are some old players, and from DPL General. What? Get the Balio rolling. If I was smart to not diss Goku during the track, yeah, I could never. Wagon Fruit's strongest soldier here for his games. This is a good day. Yup. Anyone else's Discord update and looking super weird now? Who knows? I don't know. Alright, so this is a Oras Rain, which is a cool team. And this team from Hunter has a Volcanion, which is obviously rough into Rain, but Mega Swampert is able to Earthquake past that. There is a Keldeo on Hunter's bench as well. Excuse me. As well, but into Latios and Tentacruel in Rain with that Rain Dish ability is a really tough Keldeo matchup, but yeah. Alright. Icons are so small on PC. I'm sure I'll figure it out in a little bit once my Discord updates. But I'm sure everyone will get used to it anyways. Everyone always hates updates for Discord and then they get used to it. But anyways, it looks like we have 39 viewers but only 13 likes. Like, folks, this is the point in the stream where I have to say, please like the stream for the algorithm, please. If we get 20 likes, I'll join a Wi-Fi league. How about that? But anyways, let's just get into this game. So we're gonna see a Volcanion lead, which is interesting. You would expect the water resist to stay in the back, but catches the Pharaoh lead correctly and flamethrowers into the Politoed, which does literally air 7%. And now Steam Eruption for a toxic trade. I think AM22 is very happy about that. This Volcanion looks to be Assault Vest 19 from Psychic. Damn. So very bulky on this thing. But now Latios gets to switch in on this. And where's the Lati resist? It's a Klefki, right? So it tries to Roost calling that switch, but an Explosion. We just sacked our only water resist versus Rain. Surely that is not correct, right? Surely that's wrong. But anyways, Torn comes in, able to outspeed, but Tentacruel gets to come in here for free. Is able to get that Rain Dish recovery, but a U-turn is clicked, so heads up play by Hunter. Knows that the Lati is not staying, and it dies to U-turn anyways, so free click there. Knocks off into the Swampert, so good play from AM22 and gets the rocks up on the last turn of Rain. Now Archeops comes in, sets up rocks, and now Ferrothorn lives on 1 HP from that Heat Wave. Wow. So really impactful live from Ferrothorn, able to put this Archeops in rocks range, in defeatist, all that stuff. And Weavile able to revenge kill this, goes for a knockoff. That's banded as hell. 43 to Klefki is crazy, but now taking the turn to get the Rain right back up, and Hunter actually doubles that turn, not attacking. So the Politoed is actually saved for another Rain set later in the game, because Swampert can just come in on Crook all day, every day. Now Archeops sack is going to get used up versus this Crook, and now what's taking this Waterfall? Maybe Torn can. I am not willing to find out, just goes hard to the Tentacruel. Not willing to risk the Swampert. And Hurricane only does 26%, so I'm thinking this could be Assault Vest Tentacruel. Regardless, Scald is going to get the burn, and the Torn goes down. Now Crook has to come in, hopefully outspeeds. Does outspeed. Potentially a Scarf Crook then. Not Crunch, probably Scarf, yeah. But the Rain is up, Swampert is faster than that, can just go for a Waterfall. Gets a KO guaranteed. Now Gallade has to come in. And do you have Shadow Sneak? You do not, but you actually live Waterfall, so a very bulky Gallade. Can this be done? Scarf Crook potentially could be an endgame threat if this Weavile takes any chip, but there's no way for the Weavile to take any chip because it's banded Ice Shard. There's no switch in. Crocodile can't sweep with Earthquake because of Lati. And knockoff, if it crit the Weavile, potentially could have been a win path there, but no crit, so Weavile's going to clean up this game. Well played from AM22 piloting this Rain, but I do have to question sacking the water resist super early into a Rain team. It feels, you know, somewhat unforced, right? Just getting rid of the water resist. Does crit win? Crit would win, yeah. Because if you KO the Weavile with crit, Pickpocket doesn't proc. So the Crook keeps its Scarf, and it's going to outspeed everything. Just KO. That's going to be the game. Oh, did I do this backwards? This was game 8, right? Yeah, this was game 8, so that's the end of the series. But we can go to the beginning of the series. My bad. Got the chronology mixed up a little bit. But here we have Josh the Turtwig, Joshua, Ace Trainer Josh, all those names, up against Shitrock Enjoyer, which is a ADV player trying their hand at draft. This is Fradazi, for those who are in the know for ADV. Guy's a good player. And he's in Oras, so close enough, right? We see a Scolipede, potentially Spike Stack into maybe Defog Scarm. Not really too sure. Let's just watch the game. Scolipede leads off into Thundurus, so lead Scolipede makes me think Spikes, but not willing to stand on the Thundurus, goes hard Donphan, takes a Grass Knot next turn in exchange for rocks going up. With lefties, it looks like it might be a roll with Grass Knot, not willing to stay in to find out, goes hard Heatran, pretty reasonable play. And now, Hidden Power Ground. All the coverage on this Thundurus in the world. Able to 2-hit KO Heatran. But does have Protect to scout out that turn, rack up some burn chip, and now goes hard Scolipede again. On the HP ground, gets that turn correctly. it is Black Sludge, so very bulky Scolipede as we can see. I think he's basically decided this thing is not psychic at this point, so just willing to get up the spike here. But Skarm threatening a defog here. Goes Heatran to potentially punish it, but no defog. So these spikes are probably here to stay, because if you had defog, you definitely click it that turn, right? Now, Nidoqueen going to trade rocks here as Mew comes in, but Thundurus is going to be the sack here. Yeah, the sack, because Psyshock puts it barely in range of burn. Now, Gardevoir going to come in, but Mew definitely could have some tech for Gardevoir here. We see a Protect just to scout that out, get the Mega off, guarantee your speed boost from the Mega. And now Hyper Voice is going to outspeed the Mew, but T-Bolt doing 17%. Yeah, Gardevoir can just stay in all day on this thing. And Scolipede is going to get sacked off to the Hyper Voice, and now what? Lopunny's going to come in, threatens a KO potentially, but Skarm can come in on a non-high jump kick, and we see a fake out. You do kind of have to fake out because this is almost certainly going to be Adamant Lopunny, and you're not going to outspeed a faster Gardevoir unless you fake out first. So Josh takes advantage of that, somewhat forced turn, gets the Skarmory in, and now able to chip down this Donphan with a combination of Rocky Helmet and Toxic. And gets a spike up of his own, but this Rapid Spin is coming out, no way to prevent it. So a little bit rough for Josh, really losing the hazard game quite comfortably here. I assume Josh is going to Roost here, just get up to full, as there's no way Ferdozzi's clicking anything besides Rapid Spin this turn. As he does do that, I mean, he could do it again, right? But yeah, Brave Bird is probably fine. Donphan getting turns, shout out. Yeah. Now Heatran comes in, threatening a Fire Stab here, goes for a Lava Plume, potentially 2-hit KOing Nidoqueen, yeah, with the burn, gonna take away that roll possibility, but actually switches out into Mew. I'm not really too sure why. Maybe predicted the Suicune to want to come in there. But regardless, that T-Spike up is going to be a big deal here for Ferdozzi. Now, Guard going to come in, does kind of 1v1 this Mew as we saw earlier. Like, Roost, sure, but it's probably not going to be enough, right? This Guard surely has something for it, and it's not forced to reveal it just yet. And it does have Encore, it actually does reveal it. So, Ferdozzi gets a free switch into Jellicent on the Encore turn. So now, going to be able to trade HP with Jellicent and Gardevoir, but it doesn't have Shadow Ball. Not able to KO the Gardevoir, so Hyper Voice is going to pick up another KO, but now the guard is in Rock's range. So another Protect turn just to rack up a little bit more poison damage on the Lopunny, but this Gardevoir is probably going to get sacked, or actually, the Skarm's at full. May as well get your Helmet Chip. I like the play. You can just Roost as well, and you keep the sack in the back for this Heatran, which is so scary. Oh, and the Spike goes up. That's actually so big. Because now you have the sack, right? But now you can go Terrakion, Scarf Terrakion with these hazards up, potentially can just clean up the game with close combat, force the poison on Mew. That'll KO through Chople Berry for sure. Lopunny can't come in here. Mew has to take the poison and the spike. But you just go Suicune here. Or no, you use Skarm, I guess. Same thing. I guess going Suicune would have been really bad there. Oh, it's X Scizor on the Terrakion. These Psyshock, it dies. Can Ferdozzi win this? Suicune comes in. This could be a Roost here, but Calm Mind Suicune could be threatening here. Oh, it's a Roar. That's a huge Roar. Why didn't he Roost? Just fearing Calm Mind, I guess. Just want to get your chip on Suicune and then follow up with Lopunny, maybe? I mean, you got your chip. Can you follow up, though? No, because it's Protect Suicune. Protect plus T-Spikes, a classic combination. Gonna get Encored into the Protect, but the Spike is up, the Mew's in range. And that's gonna be the game, folks. So, Josh, that looked scary at the end, honestly. The Mew is starting to pick up a lot of KOs. But he's able to pull it out in the end, and that's going to be game one. Now we have Nerf versus Undead. So, pretty interesting matchup. We see a Rain team from Nerf. What team are they on? So, Undead is on Pardon the Eruption, and Nerf is on Slime Season. Okay. So, I have more ats on Discord. Uh-oh. Alright. Another rain team. We see at least a few water resists, right? Rotom Wash and Kyurem Black are pretty good water resists if you're going to choose any to have. The Omastar is kind of a threat, right? With the Rock Stab to get through Kyurem, you only really need to weaken Rotom, and then it's kind of a big threat. Might want to throw that light in the background on now. Yeah, it is getting dark, huh? There we go. Good call. Good call. Alright. So there's a Bronzong for the Diggersby. Like, you can't just click a stab. You can carry knockoff though, which is pretty reasonable. So maybe like a Life Orb Diggersby. Just with return, quick attack, earthquake, and knockoff. You could also pack Wild Charge for the Pelipper. It seems like a strong breaker here, but I'm not sure how many opportunities you're really going to get, considering everything kind of kills it outside of like Pelipper, which is slower, and maybe you come in on Bronzong and just click knockoff. I'm not really too sure. Maybe it's just Scarf Diggersby. That would also make sense. Salazzle, usually going to be Scarf in these kinds of matchups because you actually outspeed Mega Swampert in the rain. So that's a big deal. Probably going to be HP Grass to also cover for the Omastar. Also, just Scarf Salazzle looks good here, outspeeding Coco. Yeah, just a good bring. Mawile looks like it will trade 1-for-1 versus pretty much everything. Depends on what Undead wants to sack the HP against. But Mawile looking like a really big threat here. Uxie can get up the rocks really reliably. There's Defog on Pelipper and Coco, but neither of them really threaten out Uxie at all. Can just get rocks right back up, toxic them, all that. I gotta say, I think Undead is probably favored here, just because of that Salazzle being able to revenge kill all of Nerf's offense. That being said, this Kyurem Black mirror could go either way. Nerf's Kyurem Black is probably his biggest threat. So let's get into the game. Bronzong lead into Kyurem Black. Pretty good for Nerf, but Earth Power going to do quite a lot of damage as rocks go up. And we do just see the Z, so knocks out the Bronzong really early. In exchange for rocks, like, you get the rocks and you get the Z move out. It's pretty reasonable, but now Coco comes in, goes for a Twinkle Tackle, and Kyurem lives on 2%. Gets a big hit off on the Coco, and that's going to be huge. He actually saves the Rock Sack as well. Always nice to save sacks in these offense matchups when you can help it. Now Swampert comes in, Water falls into Rotom. Do we see Helmet? We do not, so it's probably Iapapa Berry or something like that. Goes for the Defog, gets rid of the rocks, which is going to be really nice for the Salazzle and the Kyurem. And Uxie going to come in on the opposing Kyurem, which reveals the Life Orb. But this Uxie is going to take those hits somewhat comfortably. I say that as it goes down to very low HP. Procs the Iapapa and rocks go up. So really great turn for Undead there. Now you can just go for a U-turn here as Pelipper comes in, as he does go for it. But it's the eject button. So gets the Omastar in immediately. And Surf going to pick up the KO on a Uxie. That's actually crazy how it killed like that. So probably specs Omastar. I say probably, definitely specs. Rotom going to force a KO with HP Grass here. I don't know, it feels like you could have gone Kyurem, but I get it. Don't want to go on a Volt Switch, that would be really bad. Now Kyurem going to get sacked off to the opposing Kyurem, and now what's going to come in? The Mawile. So choosing to trade HP versus the Kyurem, which makes sense, that's the biggest threat to your team. Forcibly removing it with Play Rough, and then you still have Sucker Punch later. Swampert does come in. Do you sucker? You do sucker as rocks go up. Really nice double rocks from Nerf on the Bronzong and the Swampert. You want rocks up guaranteed. And Bronzong likely going to get lured by a Kyurem Z move, so he knows this. Now chips the Rotom down, but now the Rotom can get in range of Iapapa after it comes in. So I think... Oh, that was actually a smart Volt Switch, but... Okay, yeah, because if Pelipper comes in, then Rain comes up, now you just go Omastar. No, I think he's cooked no matter what, right? Yeah, this Salazzle's too much to deal with. You can't deal with Salazzle. Especially now Diggersby has to come in, and to revenge kill the Diggersby, you have to sack Pelipper. There's no way you can do it without sacking Pelipper, because Omastar is slower. Now Omastar comes in, can just surf, but the Salazzle HP Grass sweep is imminent. And it's definitely Scarf into a rain matchup, 100%, and there it is. Scarf HP Grass, and that's going to be the game. Well played from Undead. Managed his trades really well, right? Trading the Kyurem Black, Rocks Up plus the Z for the Bronzong. You trade your Mawile HP for the opposing Kyurem, forcibly remove it. Just some like good pivots mid-game to get your threats in, get your chip, and then clean up with Salazzle. Makes sense. And now, what the fans have been waiting for, Wagon Fruit, my goat, versus Ethan with a B. We see a Chandelure. This is something that's actually been pretty cool to see in SV, the Chandelure draft. So, I mean, we'll watch it here. There's a Tinglu, which is tough. There's a Tentacruel, so Chandelure maybe not the greatest Pokemon of all time in this matchup, but hey, he's cool. Alright. So, Torn versus Rotom, kind of tough. This Rotom actually looks really, really good into Wagon Fruit's team. We'll see how he decides to play around it. It's going to be Electric Terra on the Torn. That's one way to do it. And on the other side, it's going to be Terra Ghost Enam. Makes sense to get you Terra Blast coverage into the Jirachi and into the Rotom. You're immune to E-Speed. Pretty reasonable stuff. Because the Jirachi is probably going to be Shuca Berry in this matchup. You're into Great Tusk and Enamorous. Surely it's Shuca Berry, right? So mix that call, goes Ghost Enam. Screens are going up and taunts the Tinglu, preventing rocks, and gets a knockoff. That's going to be a big knockoff. No more helmet to like punish, you know, the Metagross. Even the Great Tusk spins. Oh, and double miss on Ruination is really bad. Another taunt comes out, but Earthquake's doing a lot of damage. But now you get to save the Deoxys as a sack now, which you couldn't have otherwise if one of those Ruinations hit. Now Nasty Plot Rotom is going to get +2 and Light Screen up. What is this Torn doing back? Just going to knock it off, I guess, but Hydro Pump miss. A little bit of justice, right, for those Ruination misses. Mentioned a few times how Plot Rotom looked nice. Yeah, it does. But now Tentacruel comes in correctly on the Hydro Pump, gets a spin off, but it's going to die to Discharge, right? Wait, if it lives? I mean, it gets parried, so... yeah, definitely Assault Vest Tentacruel if you're taking that little from Discharge +2. And now Jirachi comes in and Meteor Beam, so it wasn't Shuca Berry at all. Now Chandelure comes in, threatens the Scarf Overheat, which is going to be good chip, right? The main Fire Resist Tentacruel is now dead, and you don't want to break your multi-scale. So Tinglu has to take that Overheat, which is going to be pretty impactful. Gets the Rocks up. Deoxys, though, in before Rocks, but elects to get up a screen instead of taunting, so allows the double hazard to go up. Nice. Now Great Tusk comes in, but we're surely going to see a Rotom switch here. Block the spin. Ice Spinner comes out, but that does nothing. And a Wisp is going to come out. No Lumberry on this Tusk, so it's going to be burned now. And this spin is never happening. Yeah, Ice Spinner doing 14. And Hex is just so threatening to Ethan's team. Chandelure can come in, but now it's in Rock's range. And you still have AV Torn to come in on this, right? Yeah, Shadow Bolt only does 30%. And you actually don't even take chip on your Torn after that. You go hard Tinglu. Threatening to get like max layers now. Although I think at this point you probably just Earthquake, yeah. Get your chip. And now Enamorous comes in. And we're just gonna go Torn, I guess. On Superpower. So is this Scarf Enam? If it is Scarf, it'll reveal it now. Goes for the Terra Blast. And that reveals to be AV Enamorous, I'm pretty sure. So AV Superpower, pretty common set. But now Dragonite's gonna come in. It will live a Play Rough at +2 through the multiscale, so Ethan just goes for another Superpower, which makes sense. Get another defense boost, make yourself even harder to kill. But Dragonite gets a T-Wave off, which is actually really impactful here. because now what that means is the Rotom is going to be faster, threatens with a Hex, and it's just going to kill the Enamorus through the AV because of that that para. So really nice T-Wave bring on that Dragonite. Saves the game for Wagon Fruit. Goes for Pain Split, doesn't want to proc any weakness policy into the Metagross. And yeah, just going to Wisp it the next turn, but it's Lumberry, not weakness policy. So good to know. Of course, Colbur Rotom, but now, can Jirachi pull it out? Knockoff, going to be a crit. Shadow Ball does a lot of damage, but it's in E-Speed range now, crucially. I don't think that knockoff crit mattered, probably to you either way, but has the E-Speed, able to knock out the Metagross, and now the Burned Great Tusk. Even though it has Ice Spinner, I don't think it's going to be enough to knock out this Dragonite. Yeah, not even close. So E-Speed going to clean up this game. Well played from Wagon Fruit. But I gotta say, some of these sets from Ethan were really good as well. The Plot Rotom forced a lot of progress early. The AV Enam potentially could have just won if it wasn't this exact T-Wave Dragonite. So, pretty strong builds from both teams, and it was just a good game. Nice to see. Alright, now we have Flames of Disaster versus Hopeless. Who is Flames of Disaster? Oh, Slick Panther. Okay. Interesting alt name. Anyways, we see this Raging Bolt Darkrai kind of thing. You always see Raging Bolt usually paired with one of these fast darks. You know, Darkrai, Meowscarada, and Greninja. Good morning, Darkrai. Just in time for the Darkrai game. And now, in terms of threats, right, this Azu is going to have to do some heavy lifting to prevent this this Roaring Moon from going absolutely nuclear. Sorry. Stumbling over my words a bit. It's been a long stream. But yeah, we see a Piloswine, which I think is low-key underrated in SV at the moment. Hisuian Quillfish as well. Some like really value low-tier picks that can like stop a lot of these threats, right? What is Darkrai even doing to a Quillfish? Hitting a Hypnosis? That's pretty much it, right? We have Ursaluna, which is actually kind of unlucky to see the Sinistcha in this matchup. That being said, you do have like Ice Punch to do decent damage to it, so not the end of the world, but it should be able to take one and Strength Slap it back, no problem. So I gotta say this matchup is looking really good for Slick. Like, all the defensive answers for Hopeless are, they don't have recovery. Like, nothing on this team recovers HP besides Morning Sun Moth, which is just not likely here, I think. So, we'll just look at the game. Sinistcha going to lead off into the Azu, not what you wanted to see as Hopeless. What are the Terra types, actually? Grass on the Moth. We see Water on the Sinistcha. On the other side, it's going to be Dragon Bolt. Right. Moth going to come in on the Leaf Storm. We see an Eject Pack. We do see an Eject Pack, alright. Piloswine's going to come in here. Probably just going to set Rocks here. We do see U-turn from Moth. And Rocks go up. Now, Azu gets a free turn, but are we just trying to knock off the Sinistcha? I mean, knocks off the Quillfish, that's fine too. Now, is a Spike going up? Maybe a T-Spike? A T-Spike would be not that bad because there is an Iron Moth, but it is going to be forced to come in. And we're just going to sack our Quillfish? Why? That felt really unforced. We have a Sinistcha. The whole point is that you don't sack to Ursaluna, right? Maybe it's just offensive Sinistcha and you don't want to take an Ice Punch on the switch. Just stay in. Get your Liquidation chip, which is not a lot, to be fair. But I guess this does force some chip on it, maybe in range of like Terrapagos after these hazards again. So I guess it's a fair trade, but now you lost your Darkrai switch in, which sucks. Now you Scald the Iron Moth is going to 2-hit KO. Okay, sure. Sinistcha able to stay in thanks to Heat Proof. Might as well get Shard in the toolbox for guys like Meow and D-Knight. Yeah, Shard just feels so impactful in a lot of matchups. Now Oz is going to come in on an Earthquake. This is really good chip for the Moon. And stays in to take another Earthquake to play rough. The Piloswine's dead, but it did a lot of work. And now you could potentially even get a spin kill, make yourself hard to revenge. No Aqua Jet. So it's probably Bandit Azumarill he knows from the calcs or something. And now subs up on the Uxie as Trick Room goes up, and we encore into Substitute. But I think Slick's actually okay with that. We're stalling out Trick Room turns at worst case. And this encore is going to end the same turn. Or no, actually wouldn't have ended the same turn as Trick Room ended. So I think Hopeless just miscounted the encore turns. Because you could have just encored again and then reset the Trick Room. But now you have to encore into Starstorm, which is just... You're just going to lose. How does Hopeless win here? Not only this Terapagos, but this Roaring Moon in the back is a looming threat. Give up your Darkrai. That looks to be Assault Vest taking only 46. But another Rapid Spin gets rid of the rocks. And like, what's Raging Pulp even supposed to do? I don't think Thunderclap even kills. Actually closer than I thought, but still does not kill. And yeah, I have to assume Roaring Moon is just going to clean this one up. Switches to Ursaluna just for fun. And that's going to be the game. Yeah, Outrage is just going to sweep from that point. That's going to be the game. Well played from Slick, but honestly, this team, I just don't think it had the tools to win this matchup. Like, it always was going to be pretty dominant win for Slick, I think. Alright. So what is the series at so far? 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0? 4-0 for Pardon the Eruption, I think. Right? I think that's correct. So Slime Season needs to win 4 in a row to come back in the season. They have to beat Glop and Swish, which is a hard ask. But if there's anyone who could do it, it's Rob Jr., my GOAT. Alright. Let's see here. So this is like the Coco Victini kind of thing with a Hydreigon over the D-Knight. On the other side, we can see the D-Knight Victini. I can fix her type beat. Let's see. I like the Swampert here. Swampert looks like it kind of gets rocks up versus literally anything. Trades favorably versus pretty much everything as well. Flop custom avatar. Yep. Gotta keep glazing till the day I die. I get it, bro. It's a cool custom. But Swampert, I think, is going to be a really nice Pokemon here for Glop. Corviknight should be able to stop a Dragonite, depending on the set. I think Dragonite doesn't have Encore in this gen, although I might be making that up. I think it got it in Gen 9. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I think Iron Defense Corv just beats Dragonite in this gen. That being said, there is Blue Flare Victini to kind of limit that thing. So let's see. I mean, the Coco is a massive threat, right? The only switch-in is Rhyperior, which is not a real switch-in, because it's just going to carry Grass Knot, right? T-Bolt, Dazzling Gleam, Grass Knot. Or you could even be Calm Mind here. Calm Mind Coco kind of bangs. Calm Mind 3 attacks offensive. Maybe with a Light Screen Corv support. Why does that feel actually super strong? Because you Light Screen as Corv, you get a slow U-turn because you're not fearing the Rotom anymore. Like Volt Switch bounces off. You get a U-turn on something. Coco can just Calm Mind versus anything that's like a special attacker. Physical attackers like don't even threaten it that hard either. Like they're scared to come in. I could see that kind of team coming here. Calm Mind plus like trying to screen up for it. Alright, we'll see. Rotom Wash leads off into Swampert. Probably just going to be rocks here. No, goes hard. Hydreigon fearing like a trick or something like that. You don't want your Swampert to get tricked, I understand. Now Hydreigon going to U-turn here. And it's eject button Cobalion to get Dragonite in for free. But we're just going to U-turn to break the multi-scale anyways. Okay, Corviknight comes in. Rob custom avatar over Glop custom avatar. They're both sick, yeah. But now Fire Punch actually has Life Orb, so it's going to 2-hit KO the Corv. So really nice set bring from Rob. The Life Orb making all the difference there. Hydreigon comes in, but Life Orb, again, doing a lot of damage to this Scarf Hydreigon, putting it really low. And it's almost in Rock's range, right? I think maybe I would have got Rocks up there with my Cobalion if I was Rob. But regardless, goes for Hurricane, misses. You're going to get Rocks traded anyways. Just goes for a Toxic. It's a Toxic trade on Rotom versus Swampert. I think that probably favors Rob, though. This Swampert was really important. Oh, I don't like that defog. I really don't like that defog. Because the Rocks are going right back up. Right, Cobalion. Whoa. Toxic Coco? Why? Why are we Toxic Coco? Can we not just attack? Oh, misses the Toxic on Rhyperior. Man. World's strongest Swish Coco, I guess. People are just allergic to offensive sets, I swear. Cobalion comes in on the flip turn. I suppose it was probably AV on Rhyperior anyway, so it's hard to wear down. But still, Grass Knot is going to do decent damage at least. Anyways, trades a Toxic for a V-Create here. But, yeah. Rotom comes in. Can finally get a defog off, and this time it's going to stick. Close Combat does just kill the Rotom, though. Life Orb Mienshao? Yeah, Life Orb Mienshao. Such a strong Pokemon. Now goes Swampert on the Hurricane. Does 43, so not going to get your rocks up again. And that's fine, honestly. All the rock weak ones are probably boots. Now Rhyperior comes in on Victini. Going to U-turn into what? Hydreigon? No, Mienshao. And another CC could potentially come as Torn comes in. Does he call it? No Stone Edge. 50%? This thing is so strong. Now Victini comes in on the Hurricane. Does 41%. Maybe an Assault Vest Victini? Or it's just bulky. I'm not too sure. Goes for a U-turn into Mienshao. And it's actually Scarf Victini. So it's going to KO the Mienshao from full. And that's going to be the game. Yeah, no more win condition at that point. Well played by Rob, aside from that defog turn. I think that defog was weird. But the Life Orb Dragonite really opened up this game. Being able to 2-hit KO the Corviknight through the Iron Defense was just an absolute difference maker. Otherwise, I would just get Iron Defense roosted on. No problem. 50 though is crazy, yeah. So, Rob Jr. keeps his team in the series, which is nice. But now, it's Apologies versus Can't Decide. Who is Can't Decide? It's a Subzero. Alright. Apologies is someone who's actually impressed me as a player. I think he plays quite well, preps pretty well. And then on the other side, Subzero, I actually don't know anything about this guy. So I guess we're about to find out, right? Replay's right in front of us. Alright. Let's get right into the game. Terra typings, we have Fighting Zarude. And on the other side, we have Stellar Enam. Alright, let's get right into it. My apologies. Yep. So Zarude gonna come in, immediately Terra Fight close combats into the Corv. Gonna be enough to 2-hit KO it, even though it's, you know, Rocky Helmet Fizz Def. Now Enamorous comes in, takes 37 from a 4 times resisted move. That has to be like Banded or something. No, Banded would do more to Corv. That's just max attack, I think. So you're telling me Banded CC 2-hit KOs Enamorous? The head calcs are wrong either way, right? No way, right? Is Banded really just that weak into Corv? 56. Maybe it is just Banded. Yeah, I think it's Banded, Banded Zarude. Which makes sense here. You kind of abuse the Ting Lu really badly. Because Ting Lu, whenever it wants to come in, this Zarude is getting another hit off. As you can see right here. Comes down on the Earthquake, 29%. You trade that for a massive CC into something. The Enam also Terra'd. So, I guess it's Stellar, right? So it still keeps the 4 times resist. It is Banded, yeah. That's so strong. Now Muck comes in on the next Terra Blast. Gonna be a 2-hit KO.
So Muck goes down, and now what? Greninja? Gonna be the revenge killer? Should be Scarf Greninja, the way you're playing it. Grass Knot, though, so predicts the switch out really aggressively into the Blastoise, then stays in, maybe predicting like a Rapid Spin, wants to get more chip, but either way, Flip Turn, not going to do a whole lot to Gren. And now Meowscarada comes in. You have a Zapdos, but Triple Axel is really free here. I say really free, there's a Tinkaton right there. Could have just gone Tinkaton. But instead we're going to sack our Zapdos, okay. So maybe you want to go Tinkaton and SD on this afterwards. That would make sense. Blastoise switches in. As we see rocks go up, so I don't think we should have sacked our Zapdos if Tinkaton is just going to rock up versus Meowscarada. You could have just gone to it. Now Gigaton Hammer does pick up the KO on Blastoise, which is nice. But now it's on cooldown, so Enamorus can actually come in and Earth Power. But he goes for a Terra Blast instead, gets huge chip on the Lottie. And, yeah, I guess forced out by Thunderbolt, yeah. Anything super effective. And CC looks crazy now, yeah, it kills everything. And Zarude comes in on the Tinglu again. A KO is going to be forced here. Honestly, a Drain Punch would be really impactful here. Drain Punch would low-key sweep. Instead, we have to sack our Zarude to Enamorus. And it's kind of a sack war, but I think Subzero is coming out on the other side. Right, Sludge Wave from Scarf Gren. Scarf Battle Bond, maybe? Is that Scarf Battle Bond, or is he just bluffing Scarf the whole time? He was bluffing Scarf the whole time. So, if this was Scarf and Amorous, probably just got bamboozled several times by this Gren. Right? Wait, Knock doesn't kill backs, but it's Shuka. Okay. And it outspeeds, can just, yeah, go for another attack. And I think Nerf with that game locks up the series 5-1. Alright, one more game to watch. It's going to be Paddocks versus Toxic, or Iron Boulders. This is a cool team. I always like Swish Volk. I think it's such an underrated mon right now. I liked it on the Phantom Thieves team in DCL. That team was super sick, with like the Cobalion double steal, with Volcarona. What else was on that team? It was a Lando T, a Keldeo, I think. Volcarona. That was Subzero, bro. Did I say Nerf? I meant Subzero. I know it's Subzero, yeah. My bad. Misspoke, I guess. But yeah, that Phantom Thieves team with Volcarona was super cool, and I think Volk actually looked pretty good during the season. So it's good to see someone else drafting it, being Paddocks here. This matchup, though, you see Toxic with his like signature Azu, Steelix, Weavile, Latios. Like, he spams this archetype so much, and he's good at piloting it, so can't hate on it. Let's just look at the game. Hydreigon versus Latios lead. You don't want to stay in with Latios unless you're Scarf, and even then, the Coco pivot is so free. Yeah, Steelix is a great play because it covers Scarf Draco and also the Coco switch. But Taunt on the rocks, so cool. Thunderfings, predicting the Steela, gets that correct, but it's actually Helmet Max Defense Steela, so it doesn't even mind taking that too much. A little bit of chip on the Steelix never hurt nobody. And protects to scout the trick. Alright. What's going to take the trick, though? Coco? I mean, sure. It's Light Clay, so we know it's Taunt, Dual Screens, maybe U-Turn. So this Coco is basically useless now. Surely we could have just gone Hydreigon on the Scarf, or on the trick. Surely that would have been a better play, right? Regardless, the Coco's dead now, basically. Leech Sees on the Latios switch again. Can just stay in, but goes for a T-Wave, so trick T-Wave Latios, not what Paddocks was expecting. Not what I was expecting either, but a lot of pairs happening here. Full para, and full para. Toxic trying to maneuver a little bit. Actually tricks away the Rocky Helmet, which is going to be important for the Steelix. Can just kind of now look Thunderfang for free into that slot. Why does no one run offensive Coco and Swish, man? I mean, here there's a Steelix, right? I get it. Not a whole lot you can do to Steelix, but in that other matchup, 100% you could have been Calm Mind or just 3 attacks Roost. Just hit things, you know? But whatever. Into Steelix, I get it. Toxtricity goes for a Shift Gear, but Hydreigon is very bulky. With Leftovers, Leftovers should put it out of range of the next Boom Burst, but Gunk Shot going to be enough to get you across the line. Yeah, do we have to go dual screens taunt? No, we didn't have to. You could go Nature's Madness type thing, and then just once you get it low, Grass Knot is a 2-hit KO because Steelix is very heavy. But yeah, that'd be like T-Bolt, Grass Knot, Nature's Madness, and Dazzling Gleam for Latios. It's still not a fantastic set overall. Anyways, Mew gonna take a KO on the Nidoqueen. Sock comes in. Azu gonna pivot in pretty comfortably. Knocks out the Citrus Berry, so you have to be afraid of a Belly Drum here. You don't have any of your Water Resist alive. I say Water Resist. It's just Hydreigon. But no. Gonna sack the Coco here. And now Steela comes in. I guess you don't really need to Belly Drum as the Azu there. Liquidation is completely safe. And Steela doesn't really 1v1 this Lix anymore. Does get the Leech Seed, so Toxic could switch. Doesn't really need to. Could have stayed in there. Just guaranteed chip on this, but Leech Seed aggressively calls the switch, but now Heavy Slam into Lix. Takes Helmet Chip and Thunderfang. And Steel is basically dead at this point. Can switch to Weavile as well. You made the same play last time. Now, if you get Heavy Slammed with Weavile, it doesn't really matter, right? Because Azu is just going to clean up this game by itself. And he Swords Dances as well. Like, no fear. Because, again, if he dies, Azu just wins. So it's like a win path guaranteed. And what this SD does allow is that this Volt cannot set up on Weavile no matter what. Even if it's like super bulky. Because Volk setting up is the way you lose this game. So he's just guarding against that and making sure he has his Azu in at the end. And of course Paddock's going to go for it just in case. But yeah, Toxic with a really strong win there. He played well. And of course he played well, prep well. Probably going to win. That's exactly what happened. Already went over this last game in the wrong order. But AM22 wins this. So I think that's a 6-2 for Pardon the Eruption. No, 6-3. Oh yeah, because Toxic is on Slime Season. So 5-3. Close series overall this week. If you look at the schedule for week 2, that's on the screen, right? Yeah, week 2, you see we had a draw and then 3 5-3s. So pretty good week. Look at the standings. Of course, you see my team at first seed. Obviously, right? We're just the GOATs. But yeah, looking pretty competitive this season, right? Because Dino Crisis beating DUI, a pretty unexpected result, right, from a lot of people, but they were able to pull it out. Dino Crisis low-key pretty good when their SV starts winning. Like versus us, they went like 0-3 in SV, which is really not what you expect from their lineup. Like probably a fluke you could mark it up to. So once their SV starts winning and then they get a few wins elsewhere, able to pick off a win up against DUI, which I think was like 2nd seed or 3rd seed in the power rankings. So really strong win from them. Skrelp has tied both Trickavai and Balio World Tour. So looking competitive in this section as well. Although, you know, that was a little bit of a helping hand from Hacks versus Balio. Who's to say? Before the stream is done, I got a question. Most of the stats from DLWC showed Tarap as one of the top mons, yet is still priced below 3 top. And goes for like 2nd round a decent bit, where the stats from DLWC just like a one-off with Tarap? Or is the meta just not fully adjusted to Tarap yet? Tarap is like a really good supporting piece, but you never really see it like super take over a game. It's like you see Torn take over games, like we saw it several times this stream. You see Zaru take over games a lot. Tusk as well, the best glue of all time. Also can like potentially win with Terra booster speed sets. A lot of these top Pokemon are really, really scary and force so much prep, whereas Terrapagos, there is pretty much well-defined prep that you can do against it. You know, Terraghost is so easy to slap on a lot of teams. Assault Vest in general can just slow it down quite a bit. What it does do is it spins pretty well and does like toxic a lot of things. It has some utility, but Terrap more of like the best supporting piece. So it's like, you could call it like the best round 2 available, but it's definitely not like a round 1 pick for most teams. And we'll see, right? If Terrapagos keeps overperforming as that elite support option, it might go up in price again. I think I probably predict it to go up to 18 by the end of the year, but we'll see, right? I think it's still 17 points at this point. Yeah, 17. And it'll stay there for this season at least. And yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Pardon the Eruption going 1 win, 1 draw. Really strong from them. So they're up at the top of the standings. It's nice to see Wagon Fruit doing well, because I think that guy's actually super smart about the game, and I like the way he plays. So good to see him getting a 2-0 start. Nala as well in their DPL debut. Not a round 1 in 8-man or 16 in 8-mon. All the tournaments that we're talking about right now are 8-mon, so that's what the context is. Terrap, one of the best round 2s available, or like a wheel pick, close to the wheel. In 16-mon, I got Terrap round 1 in BBR, and I think that's definitely worth it. It's just a different landscape, right? Also 2-0 is top 5 player J Scurf. You see Jascha, who in their DPL debut, Carson with a strong start. All these players doing pretty well. Panda, obviously one of the best SVers in my opinion. And it's nice to see Josh returning as well. Not missing a beat, 2-0. He's always consistent in these tours, man. Yo, you're top 20? Yep. Shout out to J Ricky and his Citrus Berries. And yeah. Did you not diss Chip because you knew you were losing to him? Yep, that's exactly what it was. No, I just respect him as a player, you know? Anyways, looking to be a good season. And we'll see you next week for week 3 for Watch Party. I'm pretty sure iPro is going to join me for that one as well. So that's going to be a fun time. And yeah, if you haven't liked the stream already, go ahead and like it for the algorithm. Helps the VOD perform a little bit better. And if you're not in the DPL server, links down below if you want to spectate the games live. There is a live reaction roles that you can, get pings for. That's pretty much it, right? That's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.